Welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, January 18th, Sunday, January 19th for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, unfortunately, we're no longer live on Spreaker. I don't know what's going on with that. I guess it's a new thing they're doing, which I think might be shooing away some people, but we're still hanging in there. You can also find us on Facebook under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and YouTube. If you don't mind, mosey on over there and give us a like, and please subscribe. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we have Mr. Toni Ghazi. Let me turn off this stereo and turn back on the echo cancellation, so when I bring him on, we're not in space. So Toni Ghazi is known as the Anterior Heart. He's able to communicate and send messages through from the praying mantis, I want to say people, but beings, and then other beings as well. So let me bring him on so he can tell you a bit more about himself. Welcome, Toni, and thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Tessa, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure and an honor. And there's so much to talk about, but we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah. So can you tell our listeners, how you got into this, where it all began?
Yeah, of course. I mean, oh my God, I can start. So let me start from the beginning. Like, who am I and where I was born and all this stuff, and then we'll lead on to it, okay? Since I think we have enough time to talk about all those details. So I'm Lebanese. I was born in Lebanon, and I grew up in a Christian household. So my dad was Greek Orthodox, and then my mom was Maronite, which is part of Catholicism. So like Christianity was the whole way that I lived. And when I was 15 years old, we moved to the US. We moved to Washington, D.C., and I've been here ever since. And I really never believed. I mean, I was very religious, right? Like we never went to church. We did not go to church every day, but I would pray every night, and believed in Mother Mary and all the saints and Jesus and all that good stuff. Until I was, I would say, 40, when I awakened, right? So I'm kind of jumping just quickly so you can have a like quick context, and then I'll go into the smaller details. So at 40, when COVID hit is where I really awakened. My consciousness just became everything. And I had a lot of knowingness that best way I can describe it, you know what you know, and nothing else can like shake you. Like from the knowingness. And then that's where my real journey began, as of 4 years ago. So I'm 44 years old. And I'll get back to that in like 1 second. But as I was a child, I saw when I don't know, maybe I was 10 years old, or so, I saw what I thought was a ghost, of a boy at our home. And I like ran to my mom, like, Mom, there's a little boy like in our house. She said, okay, honey, like you're watching too many horror movies. So she kind of dismissed it. So that's the one that I go back on. Was that really a ghost? Was it a figment of my imagination? I know he was there. I wasn't crazy because I saw what I saw. But you're a child. You don't know any better, so you trust your moms, and dads. And then we went to a school that was kind of placed. It was a French school. It was kind of placed in like a cool mountainy area. Like although we lived in the city, but in the backdrop of like where the school was or is, 3 of my friends and me saw literally like a witch on a broom flying in the air. I swear to God. I mean, listen, if I just saw it, it's one thing. In fact, two other my friends saw it. It's like, oh my God. So that's another kind of occurrence that happened. And these are the only 2 memories I know of that happened that I totally forgot about, and I remembered when I awakened when I was 40 years old, or actually like 42 years old. So, and then like the praying mantis beings, I connect with them, and this is really crazy. So like we used to go to my grandmother's home every summer, and like we would spend like a month or like 2 months there, and she had praying mantises all over her garden, and like she would talk to them about or like she would talk about them as like being good luck charm, and like they bring fortune and all that good stuff. Like we loved our grandmother, we loved her garden, we loved where we were. How can I forget something that like visceral? Totally forgot about it again until I like began awakening when I was 42 years old. I also want to mention that I always stuttered, and I still stutter, so like you may see it, but I use the word a lot, and I use the word like a lot, because it will help me transition, and if I don't use it I go so stuttering has been, and like that's tied to channeling, and I will get to that in 1 second, but stuttering has been my prison, the best way that I can describe it, all of my life, every second of the day. I get anxious, especially like at school, because like we went to school like back in Lebanon, like with the French system where everything was like very orally. So you would speak, you would like recite poetry, you would do math in your head in front of the class, in front of the whole people. Everything is spoken, and like for somebody who like stutters, that's the worst nightmare. And of course, I would get picked on oftentimes, and I would go through tunnel visions and anxiety, da da da. Crazy life. I even like wasn't able to get a job because one time I was being interviewed and I started so bad that I just couldn't speak anymore, and the people felt so bad for me, but they couldn't give me the job because I started. So it was that. It's an intense thing in my life. Although now I have like accepted it, that it's part of me, and I have my little tricks to like not stutter. And like there are times where the word doesn't freaking come out, and it's like, what the hell? You just like surrender. But when I began channeling, the first time when I was practicing, the stuttering went away. After 42 years of like stuttering every day, every second of the day, when I was under the channeled state, my speech was just flowing. That's all I needed to know when I began channeling, that whatever's happening, whatever happened, whatever this like shift of frequency is real. Because like for a person who's always been stuttering all these years, and every second of living not to be able to stutter is like a miracle,
Mm-hmm.
And then I just ran with that idea. One other memory that I forgot about, when I was 15 years old, or no, actually like 16, 17, 18, the X-Files, if you like remember the X-Files, was a show, or a series. And I don't know how I could have forgotten it. I saw like a photo like last year, when I was 17 or 16 years old. In my bedroom, I had the X-Files, I had an alien that they showed, and like spaceships. And so I guess I really believed that I wasn't conscious what I was believing in. Memory that was totally wiped out until I awakened. Like crazy stuff like that just resurfaces. They were like, I've had breadcrumbs all along. I just could not remember because I wasn't on the vibration to perceive what I was experiencing. So COVID comes, and then like the whole world stops. So I sell real estate, and I am a realtor, and I still am. So I do like real estate, and I do like the channeling and like motivational speaking all over like the US, and all that good stuff. But like when COVID came, we didn't know how we were gonna work. You have to wear a mask, you have to like distance like 6 feet, blah blah blah. Everything kind of shut down in the first few months, so you didn't know what to do. But I had time because like normally I'm super busy. I'm working 14, 15 hours a day. I don't even watch TV. I'm just with clients all day. And I love that lifestyle, right? It just kind of fed me. But when COVID came, I had like a month and a half, or I think 2 months of a lull, because we were trying to figure out how to navigate this new like rules. During that time, I downloaded the Gaia channel on Amazon, like, which is a channel that has all kinds of meditation and like spirituality, and like aliens, like UFOs, and like I don't know, like like all the woo-woo stuff was there, all of like the educational stuff, and like and look, I I have never had like that channel before, so I wouldn't know what to search for if I didn't know like a show existed, right? All of a sudden, like synchronicity would appear. Crazy shows would just pop up, all about aliens, about channeling, about this and that. One specific show by Ruben Langdon, that's called The Interview with Extra Dimensionals, like was on. It was 2 seasons, I think 8 or 9 episodes each, purely about channeling. Now you have to understand, I knew nothing about channeling. I don't know the lingo, the words. I don't know anything. I'm like, like about spirituality. And I struggled with the idea of what consciousness is. Like the word consciousness, everybody talks about it. Consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. I'm like, what the hell is consciousness? I don't get it. Like I need to understand what that is, and it needs to be like tangible. My mind would not wrap my mind would not wrap its own mind around it. It was so a lot of the words and a lot of the things like that I heard like through those episodes were very out there, but yet I'm not watching the show. So I watch his show, all 12 episodes or 18 or whatever, how many episodes, like the 2 seasons, probably like 5 or 6 times over like the course of like the month and a half or like 2 months, because I had time, but also I was drawn to watch. And Mantis beings were there, and like Bashar with like the Sasani and Pleiadians and all these other like at that time was like crazy terms. Like, what the hell is like Sasani? What the hell is praying mantis beings? And are they real? Are they real? Like, there was all kinds of doubt, all kinds of disempowerment, but yet I'm watching the show over and over again. A year later, like I would realize that show embedded and like seeded all kinds of information within my field that would get unlocked on my next 1 year journey. And of course, when you awaken, like one day, like you watch one show, you're excited about the news and like what you learned, and then you're back to reality. You're working 12, 14 hours a day, you're hustling, you're back to 3D, you're not thinking about spirituality. A month and a half later, you watch some other show, you're excited for 2 or 3 hours, and then you're back to reality. You have to pay bills and you have to work hard. So that happened for a year, where it was like back and forth, like little like sprinkles. And then after a year, my ex-boyfriend actually reached out to me. And when like we were dating about 20 years before that, like we had a cat that we rescued, and like he lived with him for 20 years.
Nice.
So like the cat, yeah, exactly. And he never went to the vet or never, like, it was an amazing cat, 20 years purely healthy. And then he passes away. Of course, he was distraught, and I was distraught too. And he asked me if I know of an animal communicator, because at that time I was kind of talking about spirituality, not knowing what I was really saying, but I was trying. And I go on Google and I search for a few animal like communicators. I find 2 or 3 that are good ones, but they have a year wait. I'm like, there's no way on earth we're going to wait a year. Like, we need support right now. And I found Stephanie Light, who is a like channel, and like she channels all like kinds of beings. But when I went to her, I wasn't aware that she does channeling. I just knew that she spoke to animals. And then like we have a great session. As the session ends, she said, well, by the way, I teach channeling classes. Like, I'm like, what? Brain explosion. I'm like, sign me up, whatever the cost is. Like, I'm excited. I know a little bit, about what like channeling is. But remember, at that time, I was very disempowered. I thought you needed to be special. You had to be born with this. You need to go through some like long ritual. You need to have lived so many lives as an ascended master. Like, all the disempowerment you can ever think of, I did about myself. But I took her class, and after the first class was just about learning about what channeling is. The second class is where you practice, and it was only like 6 people on like the Zoom call, and it was all over the world. Like one person was in Hawaii, like one in Australia, one in India, so just all over. But when we began practicing, I was the one who raised their hands first. Like, why would I do that? Like, I don't even know how this works. And I tried it. And I swear to God, that was when I didn't stutter. And like, you have to understand, for a person who's always been struggling with speech, when you don't stutter, it's like your whole world breaks. Like, you shatter into a million pieces. Like, and you're excited, and you're like, is this real? And is it going to happen again? And am I not going to stutter again? And all these, like, it was like an identity crisis of speech. I didn't believe what was happening, but it was so intense and real that it was my fuel. That I don't care what you call this. I don't know what this is. I don't care if people like believe or not. I love the state because I'm not stuttering. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a gift that I started all these years because when I began channeling, it gave me the complete freedom to be, regardless of what labels. And that's basically it in a small condensed way. And after that, all I can say is magic began happening. So I grew up in a very poor background. Like we didn't have money. We lived in like the whole lack mentality. Like my dad, as loving as he is, very disempowered, would work hard, super kind, nice guy, and I would always struggle. Like he's the nicest dad on earth. He's the most amazing dad, and he should have all the goodness in the world, but yet we still lived in lack. Like how? Why would that make sense? Why would God, in a sense, punish like a being, a dad who's doing his best and working and super honest and so generous with the little that he had? Why doesn't he have the funds that he needs? Why can't we live in a way that's different, right? Now I know we disempower ourselves. Now I completely have a very different reality. So for 40 years, I lived one way, a lack mentality, and struggle and hard, and you have to work hard to create and blah, blah, blah. And everything's outside of me. You know, I would pray for Jesus, Mother Mary, every saint you can imagine, every Lebanese saint, Middle Eastern saint, Asian saint. I had icons after, I had a whole altar with all the beings, actually, like actual physical like statues, and I would pray for them every day and every night. Which now I know there's all kinds of greatness. There's all kinds of goodness within religion, and there are so no goodness, and there's all kinds of good things in having those statues, and there isn't. It's all a matter of perspective, but all of it led me. The goodness part of it really led me to where I am today, where I realized that I am Jesus, I am Mother Mary, I am Krishna, I am Buddha, I am Kuan Yin, I am all these ascended masters. And my whole life started shifting, right? And then I began challenging myself, really testing myself with the ideas of manifestation and lack mentality and creating money and creating health and creating wealth and creating businesses or great whatever it is that I wanted to create. But now I'm trying to create it from a ease way, but also to prove to myself that I am the creator. Right? Because as like you awaken, you begin understanding these topics intellectually, but you're not implementing them viscerally within your beingness. Two different worlds. But that's the beginning that led me, and I continue to evolve, and there is no destination. And I know every day is like ascended mastery. And the more that I know, the more I realize I don't know how clean or unclean I can be on this channel. Can I be unclean?
You can be wide open. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay, cool. Because guys, I have no filter, and the more that you know me, the more you have no filter, the better that you are, because you're being you and you're not restricting yourself. But I'm not rude or mean, totally. So I'm like, the more that I think I know, the more I realize I don't know shit about shit.
Right.
Like I don't know anything, and I'm on this new journey now where the unknown is my friend. That this is where, because really in the unknown is more of who I am. I don't need to know where I'm heading to know that I'm heading to myself, right? Because the unknown is me. So it's a brand new, like profound thing. And now I'm in the mode of empowering others. I don't want anyone on earth, any being to feel disempowered. Although as I say that, I also learning through ascended mastery is to honor the beings that choose to live a life of this empowerment. Because ascended mastery really and enlightenment is not just, oh, I'm living in the empowered state, I'm living in the light, I'm all in the rosy fields, everything is great. No, all creation, and like we'll talk about some deeper concepts like soon, is like creation is all of it, and we are infinite beings experiencing the all, and part of our allness is the dark, not from the bad aspect of, but whatever all is, the big bag of allness. We're all of it. We're not just the half bag that our society said is good, but we've shunned a lot of aspects of us, and like we'll get into that. So as I'm awakening, all these concepts are becoming more than intellect, because intellect is very surface, but when you drop into it and really surrender, then you understand the weight of what we're saying. When we talk about unconditional love, we'll talk about that too. So when I began awakening and I took that channeling class, and after that class, I'm like, I'm a channel. I know how to channel. I didn't know who my beings were, but I felt that the praying mantises were, but I know nothing about praying mantises. Actually, there isn't any information online, like 0.0001%, of a little bit. Few people have channeled them, so there isn't information I could go research. So I needed to rely on me. So in the first year when I like began awakening, then the next year was like when I took that class and I felt a bit more empowered. Then I've always been a great sleeper. I sleep at night. I'm in deep. I can get up and pee 20 times. I can go back straight to bed. I can take cat naps during the day, and I can wake up. All of a sudden, I can't sleep at night. I wake up at 111, 323, 555, 44, and at times at just odd hours, and I just cannot sleep. Like this is so odd for me because I've always been like switch on, switch off, sleep or awake. 2 or 3 hours. And I'm sitting there on my phone trying to pass time. Body's exhausted. Mind's like exhausted. I go on Gaia channel on Amazon in the middle of the night, just trying to something, not comprehending anything, just exhausted as hell. And then I realized the spirits are doing what's called all kinds of downloads. There's all kinds of information, expanded consciousness. So when I realized that, I just began surrendering. I'm like, okay, spirits, do what you have to do, but please let me go to bed soon. Oftentimes it's not, it's at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
But during those, you know what I mean? It's some insane, like it's the wrong time. Why can't you download me when I'm awake and I'm doing other things? But like those are the times when I began realizing and really like surrendering that I don't need to know what's happening, but something's happening that's good to my consciousness. And I would get these crazy epiphanies, which like one of them was, so look, I'm a realtor. I've been selling houses for a while. Never in my wildest dreams have desired to place a decal or a sign on my car that says I sell real estate. Like my car is empty. It's just you have the tag of your car and that's it. But one of the downloads were put a decal on the back of your car. You talk to aliens. You have to create a website. It doesn't have to be perfect. You talk to praying mantis beings and drive around Washington, D.C. in a conservative town with clients as you show them houses, brand new clients at times. They don't even know you from Adam with that decal, and put all kinds of like saucers and then alien heads on the back of your car. Well, my friends saw it and they were like, honey, that's not a decal, that's an advertisement. I'll show you a picture. Like to me, it's a decal. Like I wanted to be clear of what like the message through. So I'll show you a quick photo that your audience hopefully can see if they're watching this at one point of the back of my car. So, and it will zoom, okay. It says the Antarian heart. It says channeling extra dimensional being, spiritual guide. You see the mantis in orange. You see the Bigfoot and an alien with a peace sign and like a blinged out alien that I got from Amazon. Like, listen, I must be probably like out of my mind to do that and put me in a mental hospital or whatever happened. You know what I mean? Or whatever happened was viscerally to me, my experience, I could not shake it. So this was like July 2023, which was not too long ago, when I began driving. And after that, literally the gates of heavens opened, basically. And anything I wished and like desired on the spirituality aspect began happening. I had no clue. So I've been to over 20 events in the past since last November 2023. And I have an event every month until this coming August, and probably like more. I just can't keep track. All these events I had no clue existed. I never talked to you. I like no clue existed. So I was called one day, like a friend of my friend mentioned, oh, like, have you heard of Disclosure Fest? I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. And I had no clue. So I go look it up. Oh, it's like an event about disclosure, disclosing UFOs and aliens and like meditation and dance and all the woo-woo stuff. It could be deep woo-woo, or it could be like surface woo-woo, you know? I said, okay, cool. And she's like, oh, you know, I've been wanting to go there like since last year, but I don't know how to like sign up. The good thing about me is I call people. I just go straight to the source. Like, let me talk to the founder. Like, I go straight in. Like, if I want to do something, I do it. If it's not meant to happen, then whatever. You can. If I get a no, then it's okay. I keep on going. So I call the founder, and he answers the phone. And I'm talking to him saying, hey, buddy, how are you? My name is Tony. I just awakened. I talked to the praying mantis beings, like crazy as it sounds. You know, I heard you have these events and stage and speaking, and I would love to channel, you know, like live. Literally, it was 3 minutes. And like Adrian is the sweetest guy on earth. He said, yep, you're in. Speaking of being like, you know, excited. And then he says, I'll see you next month. And I'm going like, what? Like I was calling him to say, who I am, and I don't have any followers, and I wasn't even out public. I'm thinking for next year, like I know you have an event next month, but nobody knows me on Earth. My mind wouldn't wrap, like it didn't even. My intention was for next year, and he says, "Nope, I'll see you next month." I'm like, "Wait, why are you doing this?" Like instead of me saying okay and hang up and go with the flow, I was questioning what his decision was. He's like, "Look, when I awakened 20 whatever, like some years ago, I was told by spirit that I will know which vendors and which speakers to choose. I'll immediately know and I'll trust." That's exactly how it happened. And ever since that time, it gave me the confidence, the belief, the knowingness that something is happening that people are being very like receptive to. And I ran with it. Literally within 2 weeks, I needed to create a banner. And if it's like, I have a booth. I've never had a booth in my life. I've never sold anything in my life, like, apart from real estate. Never spoken on stage, by the way. And for a stutterer who speaks on stage, it's not the place you want to be. It's the last place on earth for somebody who can barely freaking speak to put him out. Everybody has stage fright, let alone you add stuttering on top of it. Now it's like triple stage fright, But it all happened so like beautifully, and I didn't expect to enjoy what I did. And I was able to do banners and look somewhat professional. So at those events, people would come up to me, assuming I've been channeling for years, I swear to God, asking me, "Are you going to be at all the other events that I had no clue existed?" But I would find out about those other events through the people at those events saying, "Oh, I'll see you at that event." Total assumption on their end. And that's how my journey really began, with all these like big events. And the same thing happened. I would call all these like event makers. They don't know anything about me. And exact almost experience. Within a few minutes, they're like, "Yep, you're in." And the same story. "We trust our spirit and your energy, blah, blah, blah," or however they saw it. And it's like boom, boom, boom. And then ever since then, I've been doing all these events live. I do a lot of Zoom sessions online. I do group sessions. Now I'm teaching a channeling class, which is amazing. People literally can channel like within 6 weeks. I mean, we all already do. You are just learning to remember. Just magic. And I'm the only one in the world, guys, that creates praying mantis crystal skulls. Like your audience may have heard of the crystal skulls, like the human crystal skulls. Well, when I began connecting like with the mantises, I assumed there's praying mantis crystal skulls. And I'm like, yeah, there's all kinds of skulls on Earth. And I go online, I would search everywhere. Not a person on freaking Earth makes them. What do? I create things. So I find carvers. I don't know anything about stones. Don't know anything about carvings. Synchronicity. The universe brings the right people in my way, and have an amazing Indonesian carver that creates these beautiful like crystal skulls for me. And this is a small, tiny one.
It's beautiful.
So I'm the only one. And thank you. And we have all kinds of stones, all kinds of, of course, stones is consciousness, and like we can talk about it later. So all kinds. To connect, to help you. I can embed them with all kinds of codes for healing, for connection, for expansion, to connect with the galactic guide, etc., etc. Anyhow, I'm the only one in like the world that has them and that makes them. But not only that, the first event that I went to, which like was called Disclosure Fest, a month before that. Look, at that time, I was kind of beginning to trust that I am a praying mantis channel. Another synchronicity. I don't buy things on like auctions. I don't even have praying mantis anything apart from the skulls, which happened like 2 or 3 months later. I get an email about an auction that has a praying man that there's this like 20 million year old amber that has a praying mantis insect in it, and it's on a real auction where you bid. It goes like thousands of dollars. What do? I'm like, okay, let me figure out how this works. But not thinking I was going to win this thing, not thinking I could even afford it, not thinking like, what the hell, this is not going to happen. But I'm like, let's do it. The auctioning, which was online on the phone, began at 9 a.m. on Friday, exact same time when Disclosure Fest, my first public event, began. I was on the booth and I told my friend Nicolette, listen to me. I need like 15 minutes. I have this auction thing. I don't think I'm going to win, but I'm just going to go through the motion of like bidding. But it's about the praying mantis. And I'll show you a picture of this amber that was dated between 18 up to 30 million years old. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 years old. That's still old. I said 20 million. And you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Once you're old, you're old. And I go through the thing. And I'm bidding. And it's like 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm like, click, plus. and nothing happens, and it ends, and I'm like freaking. I'm like, well, did I win? Did I lose? Like, give me. It's nothing happened. Like, I freaked out. I'm like, oh my god, I have no idea. I thought like the whole app, I'm like got shut down, and I lost it, and I started judging myself. So I'm like, you know what? Just call the company, like the auction house, and I call them. The auction house explains, oh, like we have all these lots. So like they like do the auctions like with lots, right? So there's 20 items or like 30 items until all the items are done. Then they then they'll announce the winners. I'm like, well, that's not. I said, like, that's not a cool thing. Then like you're letting your client who's been anxious for a month to begin bidding, when the bidding ends, not to know if he won or lost. Like, give me an answer. And guess what he says? You won. And then you begin questioning, like, no way on earth that in like, here's the amber, and like you see the praying mantis there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that I have on my neck. It's here, so I always wear it. So I had it wrapped. So I had a guy that like wrapped it. Sorry, let me. I'll try to take it off for a second. So I always wear it, and I actually like embed all the codes of, because in my mind, this little insectoid being, real insect, that's been in this amber for eons. Like, what energy does it hold? So so like here it is. So you see, like even like the wrapping,
Oh,
is like a
wow.
praying mantis. You know.
That's awesome.
Let me put my white hat like behind it because you can see like the praying mantis, a lot better, against the white background. Are you able to see it? Or maybe not.
Yeah, there it is. That's better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, so I have the whole shamanic ritual, and I embed all kinds of codes with all the skulls. I have it sit in it overnight, and just like to connect and bring the wisdom of this beautiful being that lived on our Mother Earth 20, 30 million, whatever millions of years ago. It's just crazy. It's like, how many more proofs do I need that I connect like with the mantis being? Not only that, let me show this like to your audience. I was at a client's house, and I'm trying to sell her house. As like we're sitting, I'm like looking out, and it was kind of sunset, and the sun hits the lamp, and I'll show you a picture, in such a way, it's just a lamp with like a bulb in there, in such a way that a praying mantis like figure shows up. So freaking clear. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
You see on the lamp? You see that? The antennas, the mouth, the head. You cannot make this stuff up. And then all of a sudden, I'm in Washington, D.C. I've been here for I don't know how many years, since 1995. Now, in my life, have I seen one praying mantis insect. All of a sudden, everywhere I go. On a 12th floor condominium, as I'm showing like this condo, at like 6:30 p.m., like during the summer, on the screen, there's not a plant, there's not a leaf, there's nothing that an insectoid being should be there to eat. But the timing in which we enter, like to show my client, like the unit, a praying mantis was sitting on the screen of the window on the 12th floor of a building. Praying mantises will appear on like lock boxes. So us as realtors, like we have a lock box, like where where the key. So like the praying mantis literally is there, where I slide the card like to put in like my realtor code, like to access the key. And of course, every other where, like and look, like here's another one as I'm showing a house.
Oh, wow.
And then I go to Sedona, like recently, 6 praying mantis at the one Airbnb that we rent. I called the owner specifically. I said, look, you may think I'm completely crazy, but I love praying mantis beings and blah, blah, blah. I just want to ask you a question. Have you ever seen praying mantises around your house? He's like, absolutely not. I've been in like Sedona for I don't know how many years. Literally, there were 6 praying mantises at this Airbnb, and the praying mantises left the morning we were leaving the Airbnb, and we extended the Airbnb like for a week, which was crazy. They were there the whole time because I would go visit them every day. And as we were leaving, I wanted to say bye. All of them disappeared. And I have videos and I have photos. Like, it's just insane. So after all this stuff happens, like, how can you not believe, right? And then as I awakened, I had UFO ships like above my house. I have V-shaped ships. I have fairies all recorded on my phone. I have recording after recording during the day and at night, where like ships are showing, like real ships, not a joke. Um, and so, I mean, I can go on and on, but that was my proof to me that whatever's happening, my frequency of belief, what I believe, like the fact that I began believing in them more, allowed me to see them more. You know what I mean? Not that they just showed up above me; they've always been there, but I couldn't perceive them because I didn't believe they could even exist. And then ever since then, it's just been a crazy whirlwind and a ride of just like synchronicities after synchronicities, proving to me over and over again that I'm meant to do this. One little like tidbit, how I knew that I connect like with the praying mantises. So like during that first year, when I was like awakening on like the Gaia channel, because I was watching all kinds of documentaries like within I'm like that 2 months. I'm like I learned about past life regression, that like you can be hypnotized and like to remember. So I don't know, 8 or 9 months later, I do like one past life regression, my first, and that's where they came through. Like literally, when I was under and when I was hypnotized, the first image was of like a like praying mantis head, like the rectangular head. But here's the cool thing: it was a quick snap of an image, like image here and go and gone. But within that quick flash, I was also in it forever. That was the first time I have two awarenesses at once, that I know my mind knows an image of a praying mantis head just flashed, but yet within that instantaneous flash, I was in it for a long time. The next flash, because it was like three flashes. The next flash of this long humanoid figure, 20, 30 feet high, very high, all made of light. So I could see the head, like the shoulders and like the arms down, just standing there, purely emanating light. And I hear the download and experience this like following message, that we are coming to your mind as a humanoid silhouette to allow your brain to comprehend what it sees. Because if we truly come in our essence of consciousness, your mind would not be able, it doesn't have any archetype within our mind to understand what it's seeing. It will be like TV static, like not understanding like what it is. But as you like witness us now, we will allow your frequency to acclimate to ours, and the more that we get to know each other, you will like you'll become to acclimate like to our own essence, and we can bring you more messages and more images of how we actually are. The last third image was amazing, and it's on my website, is of this heart. Again, it was a flash, but within that flash, I was literally in this infinity, which I'm gonna describe next. It was this heart that was sliced. Like you've seen like the egg slicer, like the old school where you put an egg and you slice it, those little like string of metal that, you know what I mean? It was like that. It was sliced hearts, but that went on forever. Each slice was all faceted, but the facets were very peculiar. Like it was crystal clear beyond. So I have a little crystal here, right? So this is like crystal. Whatever clarity this is, or the clearest crystal that you've ever seen, like for your audience, this goes beyond, but with intelligent consciousness of that clarity. That's the best way I can describe. Like the clarity itself was like intelligent and it was a being. All of the layers of the heart were all faceted. And within that infiniteness, which kept on going like forever, but like there is a point where I see this small like flame of light, this small grain of sand almost, like of light. And I hear clearly, all of you, all conscious, all beings, you are so powerful that you do not need a big flame or a massive bonfire or a volcano or this huge flame to remind you of how powerful you are. All you need is this little grain of sand of your light to let you know your true power. And that little light reflected off the one facet to the next, to the next, to the next, onto the infinite. And I have chills right now. Onto the infinite, because every time I like relive it, it's just insane. Onto the infinity of all these hearts that are all faceted, created a vehicle or like Merkaba of light. And in that moment, I knew immediately that I am love, heart, and I am light. And after that, I kind of went on. I mean, like, look, my hands are completely chilled out.
Goosebumps.
Yes, like I'm like goosebumps. And after that, I had a visceral like knowing that everything I've experienced in terms of like lighter frequencies to remind me of the mantis, this is this is like the most knowing of the knowingness. And after that, I ran. I called my friend, like, oh my God, like, you know, all my friends, I connect to the praying mantis beings and I come from that. Like, I was so excited because I knew it. But now, as I know them more, everything and not just that. They're just helping me to understand more, and you know. But in the moment, I felt I belonged. I needed to belong to a galactic family, and like that was my first visceral like knowingness that I do connect with these beings, and then the whole channeling began, and I took the channeling class and all the events, etc., etc. And here we are. I was at the channel panel 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago in Sedona, and I was at the biggest stage that I've ever done, that held like 800 people, and I spoke on stage. I've done some speaking like engagements, but they're in small rooms, 50 to 100 people, like, and not a stadium type thing or stage. This was a stage. And again, for a person who has like speech impediment and stutters, and here it comes, stage is the last place you want to be, and to speak like publicly is like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But the moment I stepped on stage, I don't know how to describe it, I fell in love with my voice, not from an egoic sense, but as I'm speaking, I almost had an out of body body like experience where I witnessed myself speaking, and I began to fall in love with self. First time ever, with my sound, with my voice. Like, this is my sound of creation. I'm the creator. I am a god, like everyone else is a god. But for the first time, I was able to recognize my own voice from an unconditionally like loving way. And in that moment, it was an awakening beyond awakening. I knew I've done speech engagements and like motivational speaking in many other lifetimes, or in many concurrent lifetimes. It was the most successful and activating and beautiful experience I had. And the most beautiful thing is witnessing the audience, because as I'm speaking, I would interlock eyes with each and every one, like as much as I can, because there's like 400 people there, or 500. You know what I mean? You can't look and you can't see because some of them are like a bit far away. But as I'm looking at the audience, literally, I would see sparkles in their eyes, almost as if I was in a Disney movie, how you see like sparkles. And I could feel the energy of they're allowing themselves the permission slip to be. And the reason for that is I stepped out on the stage in a dress. And I'll show you a picture. And that was all strategically like done, because I got the download. You need to break the paradigm and break like the barriers and give people the permission to simply create. Because you are the creator, not feminine, not masculine, not girly, not boy. Has nothing to do with being gay or none of that. That's all limitations of what we can understand. You are a creator, and you get to express through your creation. And as you create whatever version of you put on, surrendering into that version brings the magic and the gifts that you can never fathom until you step into that, in a sense, costume, right? And it's not about like putting a like physical dress on, although that's one aspect. If you're a singer, if you like to draw, if you like to dance, if you like to tap, I don't know, things that you've always wanted to do that you suppress yourself, that society suppressed you, that your own stories in your mind suppressed you, that your parents suppressed you, schooling, that your culture, suppression, no, this is not good, bad, judges, suppress. I saw in people's eyes literally this wall fall down, where in their mind I could feel, wow, if he can do this, I can do what I've been always wanting to do, and I've been prohibiting and like shunning myself to do. It was the most magical thing. And in that moment, I knew what I was meant to be, beyond like a channel like for the praying mantis beings. So I'm going on a new journey of true motivational speaking from a more like galactic way, that not it will only be 3D, it will bring some galactic crazy concepts in, like for the ones that like want to receive and still channel. So speaking of that, let me show you like the dress. So I had two dresses, and like, you know, of course I've never been called to wear a dress, and I don't care to wear a dress, and like And then like when I told my husband, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, babe, don't ask me that question because I'm just trusting spirit. I have no idea, but I need to do this. Like I needed not to listen to my fear. And believe me, there is fear. The mind's coming in. Don't do this. Da da da. You're gonna be judged. I had people like come up to me crying, saying, "Thank you for doing what you did, because now you gave me my permission slip to do what I want to do that I've been hiding or not feeling like great." It was the most, it was the most beautiful thing ever. No one on earth should feel disempowered ever for anything that they like that they desire like to express. So here's the dress. Oh, and like just one quick thing. So most people like they recognize me like with the outfit that I have on, which is this, right? And like you see it on my website. That's the normal outfit that I wear. And I have a black one, which I love that outfit because that exudes like kind of like the holy essence that I see like myself and all in. But like part of my strategy is they knew I was gonna look like they thought I was gonna look like that, but I came out looking like the following picture. Like this.
Nice.
Amazing.
That's
And when I
awesome.
tell you it's awesome. And then I have one more dress that's made out of silk. It's not really a dress, it's a kaftan or whatever you call it in English. And by the way, I'm learning all I had a friend help me do the shopping and like but anyways. But I have good taste. So I could and like this is the other one,
That's
you
beautiful.
know, with all kinds of bling on my head and
Mm-hmm.
just like to radiate creation. That even the idea of pink in our society, like for example, as simple like as a color, our society like defined it as only for girls and women. But pink is a consciousness and it's intelligence and it's part of creation, not ever defined as one thing. So this is how we will begin to break the paradigm and reconstruct our belief systems from limited to unlimited. And when you become unlimited and allow the unlimitedness to be part of you, then you begin to experience your infiniteness. And when you begin to experience your infiniteness, you realize I'm that infinite. If you constrict yourself in a box, sorry, and I'm hiccuping. If you constrict yourself in a box and live that box life over and over again, you're not giving yourself the opportunity that you're grander and bigger and more expanded than that box. That's what stepping beyond the fear does. Because all the fear is doing is designed, and I mean we have a lot of topics to talk about. It's amazing. Fear is designed perfectly by creation to do exactly what it does to keep you away from expanding. That's its sole job, and it's perfection in its way, and it's honored by creation. But when you work with fear and jump into the abyss, into the darkness, into the unknown, that's when you realize, wow, the fear is only there to keep me away from the next step. But when you're in the next step, you realize, oh my freaking Lord, I am more. And then once you get over one fear, it just gives you the fuel to continue. Because now, for the first time, perhaps ever, you realize I am more than I ever thought I was, right? Because again, our society defines who we are. Our schooling, our social media, our parents, our own stories limit and creates this persona and this identity of like limitation and of separation and of disempowerment. So that's a little tidbit about my life, but we can talk about all kinds of other things: unconditional love, fear, disempowerment,
Well, I
channeling. I
learned
mean,
something
everything.
about pink. I think it was last week, which I have a friend Jerry and he wears pink and it's like so manly. But seriously it is. And I learned because I do this trivia thing all the time and Vikings back in the Viking days, that was one of the colors that they most wanted to wear. And so that to me was like just really awesome to learn because I was like, wow, I always knew like pink was, it doesn't matter what gender you are or whatever. It's just like you said, the box or the constraints that they try to put us into. But yeah, that was
Of
one of the
course.
most wanted colors back in the day.
Of course. And if you look at like at like the Greek gods, they kind of, I mean, they didn't wear they wear caftans and they had gold like bang. If you look at Egypt, the Egyptian, like they have blue lines, which I just began doing this, and all kinds of creation, right? It's not, we defined it as a society because we judged it to be, we boxed. But the cool thing is like through the praying mantis, the as you expand your consciousness and begin to stretch your mind, and the expressions that you thought meant one thing, but now they're meaning something else, because you've literally stretched the meaning, dove deeper into what love means, or what this means, or like what that means. Then you begin to realize, and I'm losing my train of thought.
Well, that's okay, because
Sorry.
we're just
Go
right
ahead.
there, about to go to music break. So if you want, we can get back to that when we come back.
Cool. We'll honor
All
that.
right, let's do that. All right, so on this music break, we have Miss Michaelan Hay, and she is from Ontario, Canada, and she is amazing for her age. Like, the music she's putting out, just you can feel her spirit, and I don't know, she just blows me away. She's amazing. She's going to be singing "Devil You Know," "Collapse," "Close," and "Nothing But Blood." And then we have Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California, with "Sugar." And then we also have Mocha Tea from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with "My Life." You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break, which is just over 17 minutes. So feel free to walk around the cabin, get something to eat, drink, or whatnot, and we'll be right back after this music break.
Your troubled heart bleeds like a river. It's rushing towards fields painted greener. It doesn't see the demons behind, praying you're getting close to the line, so they can get their hands on love and trade it off for silver. The curtain's nice, but what it hides is worse than sticks and stones. Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope. Better the devil you know. 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 Your nervous spine is crawling with shivers. You're standing right in the eye of a blizzard. You're inches from a shelter, so near to warmth of a home in a chandelier, shining down its light on love, wishing you'd be closer. The curtain's nice, but what it hides is worse than sticks and stones. Before you climb the fence tonight, look through the microscope. Better the devil you know. Better the devil you know. Better the devil Saw you for the first time in a while, in a while. You seemed so surprised I worked out a smile, out a smile, out a smile. 'Cause I've grown and I've changed, yeah, we went separate ways. How come we're both back here? 'Cause you pushed me away, let my life rearrange, but still we're both back here, back here. Close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me, close to me. You know how to make me lose all control, all control. I should know when I need to let myself go. So let's go. Close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. I'm not the same, I'm not the same, I'm not the same person anymore. I'm not the same, I'm not the same, I'm not the same. I want you close to me, I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. I want you close to me. I can see that you wanted me. Follow me, baby, just follow me. Trust me, baby, get close to me. There's too much sky, too blue, too white. The birds on the wire are singing, but I don't know why. Why aren't the roses hanging their heads? They're standing straight up, blooming instead. Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. Why does that guy have a smile on his face? Why is the sun even shining today? Why are the headlines talking about love? Don't they all know what happened to us? Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. The moon goes up, the sun goes down, the stars light up, the world goes round. Every day, life moves on, it there's nothing. Now that we're apart, there's nothing but blood in my heart. Blood in my heart. Blood in my heart.
Life, the quality or state of being alive, a living organism, and I am. Mocha tea, let's get it. My life, the sugar, honey, iced tea. They wonder why I smile so gracefully, and wonder why I like blue when I'm lactose. 10 toes, 10 fingers, nigga, 10 hoes. Flow dope, whip it, microwave and stove was broke. Broke days, broke weeks, even broke months. A rich don't what have them going crazy. Lettuce and mac and cheese got them going crazy. Irregular, abnormal, and unusual. So unusual, I got shot for being beautiful. You can tell me love, you so gorgeous, but yet got a gun pointing to my forehead. Yo, head break bread, yeah, we gon' feast. Remember the cold nights we had nothing to eat. Southern Belle raising hell area near you. I'm hungry and leaving no proof. My life, my life, my life. It ain't always sunshine in my life. A big puzzle, I'm trying to figure peace ain't right. They thought I wasn't gonna make it, I know they didn't. It's visual, check your vision if you got the issue. A news feed if you got the memo. Breaking news, a new wave coming. Fuck a wave, hurricane, so mocha-licious. I really do this, it's in my blood. Pass it to my kids when I have some. And that's hip-hop.
Waiting here on this cold, lonely night without you. The tension's overbearing. Wondering, are you coming back home again? To inspire fondness with love. Where did our love go wrong? My sugar. Why did I make you cry? Whispers flow through my mind when I think about you. That warm feeling in me. My heart sings a sad song and just melts away. Please look into my eyes, my sugar. There's life in out there. Until the sun doesn't shine anymore, I'll be there. When time is a memory, I'll know this love. my sugar.
Welcome back, guys, gals, and ghouls. I'm making my way back over there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. We've been hanging out with Mr. Toni Ghazi, and I'm so excited to welcome him back. Welcome back, Toni. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Tessa. Thank you so much. And you guys can call me just Toni Ghazi. There's no need for the Mr. part.
Okay.
With no judgment about the Mr. I'm only 24 years old. LOL.
I know. That's how I
no,
feel.
I know. Thank you for mistering me, but there's no need for that. We're all, Toni is totally fine. Thank you, honey. Thank you for the music. That young lady, the first song, The Devil or something. Wow, the voice is like amazing.
It's mind-blowing. I'm just like, what? They can't be coming out of... Well, at the time when I first heard about her, she was like 18, so she's in her early 20s now, but wow.
Yeah. She's our age, don't worry.
Right? Totally.
I love it.
Okay, just making sure everything's going.
Yeah, no
Jeffrey-
worries. I love your alien earrings, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My daughter Nova bought those for me.
Love.
Yeah, I try to, I don't know, be as open and accepting and whatever for my kids, because, like, I don't know, my mom was that way, but I lost her when I was like 5, almost 6. And then I had to live with my aunt and uncle, my grandparents for a little bit, but mostly my aunt and uncle. And my aunt was totally against like paranormal, anything like that I knew was there. Like you said, I saw what I saw. I know what's out there, but kind of shut that down for me. So yeah, I don't know. I was going to mention that to you earlier, like how we're so lucky to be in this day and age where everybody is so open and aware of so many of these things. And I think a lot of the people that are born for the last, I don't know, let's say 46 years, they're, awakened and just have this different view on life. And the closer we get to the younger kids, like it's more and more and more. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We'll keep it there. I was going to say something else, but we won't go there. It's a beautiful time for all of us, because as each of us expands, we allow others to expand too. And we all have our journey of expansion. And like some of us didn't come to Earth to expand. They came to Earth to live in limitation and stay in limitation for a while. And we have to learn to honor that fully, because they are ascended masters. They are beings. There's no disempowered. They're not disempowered. So yeah, that's the next level of like stretching your reality into new paradigms of thinking and allowing what is to be, Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so I was trying to remember what we left off on, and I don't know if that is where you want to go back to. Like, where would you like to go from here?
Anywhere. I mean, I don't. So, guys, for like your audience, my memory works in mysterious ways. My husband always says, "Your memory sucks." I'm like, dude, leave my memory alone. My memory works the way that it wants to work. Like, I don't need to remember everything that happened in my life. It's so exhausting to carry all that memory. I said, whenever the memory resurfaces, it's meant to be resurfaced. The other ones I don't remember, I don't need to remember right now. It's lighter this way.
Right.
So I really have no memory of what we're talking about, but we'll continue on. I mean, if you
I
have
know, me too.
questions,
That's why I'm like, I claim to have all the timers because, like, yeah, my mind could just go at any time as far as my train of thought. So when you're in Sedona,
go ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead. Well, you first. No, I'll go.
You're so sweet. Okay, I will receive going first. So also like memory, right? It's also like surrendering into, I don't need to know now what I need to know. And trust and like fully trusting that like spirits, however you call them, spirits, God, Jesus, all of it is the same thing in like different ways of understanding, allowing them to work through you the way that they're meant to work through. Like, there's no need for us to struggle with the idea of things. Just allow and trust what needed to be discussed and like dialogued and heard was meant to happen the way that it is. And, you know, and you allow flow basically to happen, because when you resist the flow, then you create resistance, you create blockages, you create structures back to limitation, and you just want to go with the flow.
Yeah, I know. Getting into this podcasting thing, I've had social anxiety since I was a kid, and I think I didn't have a stuttering issue, but I had a really bad Southern accent, like Arkansas backwoods sort of accent, and lived in like Washington and Florida after that, and I got teased so bad, especially in Florida. So I think that was the beginning of my social anxiety. But I was able to get over that. I've had people say I have an accent, but I think it's just the Colorado accent now. Unless I go back to Arkansas, then I get the twang back. But I was asked to do this show for Spaced Out Radio, and I was just like, I don't know. Because the social anxiety was so bad, I didn't know if I could do it. And I thought about it for a day, because he's like, don't wait too long. And I got back to him because I just felt like, I don't know, this is another step in the direction I need to be going, and I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. And look, thank you for talking about voice. That's really important, because okay, this is going to break some boundaries, and you said we can talk about anything, and of course I'll keep it kind of clean. But I was at the channel panel right 2 weeks ago in Sedona, Arizona, and I had a workshop like the first day. And I didn't know what the workshop was going to be like, or you know, or like for, you know, because like the event makers 3 or 4, 6 months, like before, when they sign you up, they say, hey, like send us a description, what kind of workshop you want to do. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I could send you a description now, and like the day of, like spirits could say, do this, and you know, this is how I live, like, you know, in the moment. So anyhow, so I was called to send like a description about sound, that we're going to work with sound, and I didn't know how we're going to work with sound, but I just knew it. 2 or 3 days before, I had a calling of what that sound is going to be like. And I was like, oh my God, really? Like, I looked up and like, are you serious? And they were like, yep, you got to break the paradigm. You got to make people begin feeling comfortable with the uncomfortable, because the uncomfortable is never uncomfortable. You created the story that it is uncomfortable, right? We're natural beings. So we worked with the idea of sound and moaning sexually, not from the aspect of like sex, but from the aspect of hearing your voice as a creator, hearing your sound as a creator. Because sex has been also shunned and like vilified, I guess if that's the right word, and tabooed in so many ways. And if you read a lot of this, like sacred texts, which I don't read much, but people say that they do, and I trust some of the people. But anyways, I don't read, guys. I just follow. I'm very auditory and I'm very visual. I've always struggled like with reading. Like there's sacred sexuality and it's energy of creation. Like if you think when two people have sex, you know, they co-create a child, for example, right? Man and woman, at least now, although when you go into consciousness, that changes. You're not co-creating in that way. But there's creation of source. So there is like a sacredness of what emanates during such a union. And what's emanating is your divine voice, right? Now, with the idea of porn and all these other things, yes, there's like you know, there's a different way and different, you know, when you think of sex from that aspect, but when you think of sex from the aspect of like divinity and like union and creation of another being, there is sound of you, a God, as a creator. So I was so called to work with it, and I began like moaning, and I said, listen, you need to listen your voice. You need to break the shame, the embarrassment, whatever society like told us that's not good, and just fully fall into your voice beyond this. I mean, I'm calling it moaning, but it's not necessarily like the sexual moaning, but it's hearing your voice and receiving your voice and accepting your voice and allowing your voice to be, which is sound of creation. So like going back to you and like your like the accent, if I'd known you then, when you were beginning, I would have said, don't even worry about it, girl. Like, this is your sound, at least on that station of life, right? Which sound, we evolve, we change, we adjust, we whatever, So for the people out there that have whatever kind of accents or sound, don't ever muffle your voice. That is your voice of creation. That is your frequency and vibration of creation as a creator. Like, listen to the words beyond the intellect. You are a divine being. Your vessel, your body right now, since we're living in the density of this crystallized version, your body is the vessel that creation chose to express itself through. That brings me to, I'm going to read something. So like the night before I was supposed to speak on the big stage, I'll backtrack for a moment. The way that I get my information, like from the Mantis beings, has been through the channeled messages I have with clients, right? So if I'm channeling 101, if I'm channeling in groups, and if I'm like channeling on stage and people ask questions, which they do, and they love to dialogue with people, I get that information through like the consciousness. It gets embedded into my field, and I know what I know, right? There are a lot of channels out there, and a lot of, I guess, spiritual like teachers where they sit by themselves and like channel messages from the beings to the public. Up to this point, I'm not called to do that, and I don't have the excitement to just sit here and have them blab about stuff. Not blab, but share.
Yeah.
Mantis beings, Mantis beings, by the way, are super funny, and my husband doesn't think I'm funny. But I'm like, babe, it's okay, don't worry, I'm laughing in my head. But a lot of people that connect with Mantis are hilarious. Anyhow,
As long as you think you're funny, I think that's all that matters. My Uncle Bill used to laugh at himself all the time, and that would make me laugh so hard. I don't know.
Like totally. So, oh God, I lost my train of thought now. Where was I before I went off?
Oh, your husband was saying that you're not funny because you were talking about your voice, and yeah.
So the voice. Sorry. So yeah. So I get my channel messages like through all of the questions, and like the dialogues through clients, and that's how I learn through the praying mantis beings, how they are, how they live, how they explain like topics that my mind, I know it didn't come from me because I don't think that way. But anyhow, like the evening before I was supposed to speak on like the big stage, I'm sorry, on like the morning, the evening or like the day before, I wake up at like 6 a.m. I'm like, I use the F word. I'm like, shit, I'll use that instead. I'm like, shit, I have to get up at 6 a.m. and I'm up and I'm exhausted. I'm like, oh, we have a long day today. And a loop in my mind, a message keeps replaying over. It was like 3 paragraphs actually, or 4, but I'm only going to read one. Keeps replaying over and over again. I'm like, okay, guys, I get it. Fine. I'll try to memorize it. And then I'm like, nope, write it down like verbatim. Right before I was getting on stage, like I was talking to my friend. I said, listen, I'm called to read the message. Like, no, like just do it from your heart. Just like, I'm like, just let it come naturally. And I'm like, fine. Right as I was on stage, I'm like, no, give me my phone right now. I'm hearing them. I need to read it exactly as it was written because I'm not supposed to miss any words. So I would like to share it with the public, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. And like this has to do basically like with the fact that I stepped on stage, in a dress. It has nothing to do with the dress. I stepped on stage in a way that people expected something, didn't expect a man to look like this, to break the paradigm of what should and is, right? And like they said, embrace every aspect of you that desires to emerge with reverence, wonderment, and wow, like wonderment itself, allowing it to shine on the stage of creation. Because the truth is that we are the stage of creation. We are the platform that creation chose to express itself through. What an honor for each and every one of us that creation itself, God, Jesus, whatever you want to call him or her, it. What an honor for each and every one of us that creation itself chose us, me, you, to see itself and express itself through us. We are creation's embodiment. Embrace and be all of the infinite facets of creation. So for people out there, your sound, your vessel, your thoughts, your experiences, your choices, your decisions that you made are happening through this vessel that the universe, God, whoever you want to call it, chose itself to speak through you. Like when you begin valuing yourself on that level, that my accent, my look, my weight, my height, my stutter, my this, my that, everything that we judge about ourselves, which there's a whole list in humanity. You know what I mean? There's a whole encyclopedia. When you begin valuing you as a vessel of creation, that creation chose to speak through you, it's like, oh my God, why in the hell am I judging myself? The God, the creator, chose me to experience itself through me. Like, how valuable are we to God for it to do that? You know what I mean? Like, it was such a profound thing. I think, like, I never thought of myself like that. I never thought of our vessel and our experiences and our lives and everything we decided as creation, God working through me, right? And now let's talk about judgment for a second. Because as bigger souls, as expanded, ascended souls, because we've lived so many lives as being the infinite and not not restricted. We lived all kinds of lives. We chose. It's almost like we got bored as like divine beings saying, oh God, we're expanded, we're all this, we're all that. Let's live a life that's more limited and see how we experience that. So that's what our life on earth is to live through the ideas of limitation and separation, meaning we're separate than God, and forgetting that we are divine, to rediscover ourselves that we are divine. I know I mean, you know, I feel some of the audience may get this in like some are like, what the hell did you just say? Anyhow, don't think too much about the words. Let the energy like seep through. It will come later. Seeds of information is being embedded into your field to allow you to remember and awaken on your journey, because your journey is divine the way that it is. And through the idea of limitation and like separation, meaning we don't believe that we are gods. We believe that we're separate. When the reality is, let's like assume this is God, this like force, this energy, whatever you want to call it, this consciousness up here somewhere in the universe. We are threads. All these little, and there's infinite threads, which is a facet. But that thread is always connected to the source. That's how our interconnectedness is always working. We are not like severed from God ever. And by the way, that's how God or the universe or source gets its information from, because we are interconnected with it. But because we don't believe we are, and through that belief system we experience complete separation, it allows us to experience what it means to be separate. And that in itself is ascension and is mastery. And we chose that life to allow ourselves to see, yes, we are connected in everything, but yet through the disconnection we can also be who we are. So the idea of judgment, like what it does, the mantises through like a live session, you know, on stage in Las Vegas, there's a guy that asked, I forget, like a question about something, and like they came through and described, they said, imagine, ironically enough, I'm going to bring out this mantis being, imagine this picture of this mantis is us, right? This is the whole picture. So this is our infiniteness in like, you know, encompassed in this tone. And like, imagine like there's no hole here, like for a second. This is, you know, that's his third eye. Every time we judge ourselves, every time we judge our choices, our decisions, our body, whatever it is, every time you judge another human, another experience, a skin color, this, that, an experience that you witnessed, a dialogue, that every time we judge, we literally take a little piece of this whole, like see this third eye, take a piece and you throw it in the ether. Every time you judge, you take another one, it's a piece, away. Next thing you know, what was once a whole beautiful image, of course without this hole, now is riddled with holes, holes. Because each piece of who you are that you shunned away and judged, every expression, because you are creation, is out there. You created space, you created like distance. And the trick or the tool to bring those pieces back to you so you can see yourself whole again is the unconditional aspect of loving, which we don't understand what that means. We understand intellectually what unconditional love means. We absolutely do not comprehend what it is. Unconditional love is really honoring every aspect of creation. The idea of war, the idea of rape, the idea of Hitler, the idea of Holocaust, all the things that our society said are extreme, and this is going to push some people's buttons, but the praying mantises are designed to break the paradigm. We cannot live in fear anymore, defining our world as being disempowered. But anyways, all these things that we have placed on the left side of things or wherever in a bag that's dark or whatever is creation and is God and is part of you. God is not only the good thing, God's not only the neutral thing, God's all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But through the eyes of creation, they always say there is no judgment, because everything is expansion the way that creation sees it. Every experience, the way that we describe it, for example, as being negative and bad and blah, 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 or whatever, and not good, is an experience. And through that experience, you allow expansion, you allow learning more. There are lessons within that paradigm that we described as evil and bad and negative and we shouldn't look at, we should push away. There's expansion within it. So when you begin to vibrate on that frequency and begin to live in a life where you define everything as expansion, then you begin to see your life from a magical point of view. And the act of unconditional love is not necessarily agreeing to such an idea of war and dying and being a victim and a kid, all that bad stuff. Yes, there is an aspect of it as part of creation that you don't condone, but witnessing, and this is the next level, witnessing another ascended master, because all of us are ascended masters. All of us, again, I go back to the energy source and we're all the threads of it. All of us are ascended masters. All of us are divine beings made of light. And we choose on the stage of creation to put on costumes. It's like a Halloween every freaking moment of the day. This is what I tell people. Playing Halloween, you put on a French maid, outfit, and now you're experiencing what it means to French maid. You put on, I don't know, like a butler's outfit, now you're a butler. You put on a mantis outfit, now you're a mantis. You put on like a sexy outfit, now you're sexy. You put on an outfit as a firefighter. Now that's what life is. You put on these costumes to allow you to invoke within you what it means to be this role and that role. So as you witness other humans, other beings making their free will choice as a divine being, with humbleness, meaning not trying to change them, not trying to judge them, not trying to say this is right and this is wrong and they should have done that, just allowing them to be, that's the next level of complete unconditional love. And when you begin seeing and being to comprehend, able to comprehend that, look, I may not agree with what you said, but I can sit here and say you are an ascended master and you have a free will choice and you get to choose what you want because that's your life and your path. From that aspect of unconditional love, that you bring those pieces back to you. So you begin with self. Every time you judge yourself, decisions, whatever, I should not have done this when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. Go back and allow those moments of creation to be what they are from that aspect. And when you see it from an unconditional love aspect, literally you bring it back to your heart, to your picture that was once riddled with holes, now is whole again, to be able to see yourself as like the whole being. Let's talk about war for 1 second. Also, when I was in, I think, Las Vegas, one guy asked the question, oh, well, what do the mantises think about the idea of wars and kids dying and deaths and blah, 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 and all that dramatic play on stage? They began by saying, listen, they didn't say it that way, but they said it their own way. If you believe you're an infinite being, right? And the guy said, yes, we're infinite beings, right? From that perspective. Okay, if you're infinite, that means you don't die, right? Death is not a concept. Death is our limited way of thinking. We just change costume because we're energy. We're always living, but we change a costume. Like this life, I decided to be a human. Next life, I could be a butterfly. Next life, I could be the wind. I could be a planet. I could be an alien. So if you comprehend beyond the intellect, and that's the other little trick, we think we understand what we do, but we don't. We understand the limited version of what we think we understand. So if you believe you're infinite, and you believe that there's no death, so what are you killing to begin with? The act of war and dying and victim and perpetration. What are you killing to begin with if there is no death, if you are energy and you're living forever? There's just change of costume. And what they said is, the act of witnessing war, there are three things happening. Is that the perpetrator decided to play that role. And stop for a second. How powerful and unconditionally loving that soul must have been to have come to earth to play that tough role, to be the perpetrator. Next, there's the victim, kids, parents, whatever it is. Like, all kinds of people dying in war. How powerful must that soul be to choose a life to be the victim? And each role is learning from their own aspect of creation. So the victim is learning what it means to be a victim and expanding through that experience. Because again, there is no death; it's just changing costume. And the perpetrator is learning from his act of perpetration and expanding through the idea of perpetrating and hurting others. Because again, even if he dies or she dies, there is no death. And us as witnesses on the outside, witnessing such trauma, drama, and pain, from that view, it allows our heart to expand with compassion and to stretch our love to a newfound love that in our minds we think we're unconditionally loving, we think we know what love is, but when we witness such atrocity from the limited version of what we're witnessing, it allows your heart to expand, to let you know that your heart is much bigger than you ever imagined. And the next level, when you begin witnessing those roles as being ascended mastery, ascended masters playing out the role for each to expand and for allowing us, the viewers or the observers, to expand with them, then you change the whole paradigm and you empower those beings and not disempower them. We'll talk about the idea of like homelessness, like for a second. So in Washington, D.C. and all over the world, like you have homelessness. And I, in the past, and like many other people, would drive down the street and see homeless and immediately think disempowerment, think like poor them. What must have they done in a past life? If people think on like terms of karma, then they must have done something bad that they're living this life. But we disempower them. Of course, you give them money, you try to give them food, assist in many ways to support them, not to enable some sort of habit. But we go in it immediately with this empowerment that their life is less than us, and and why, and this like sorrow aspect of things. Well, through the Mantis beings, I shifted my whole mind, and again, they allowed me to see them as light beings. Again, they said verbatim, again, how powerful must that soul be, and technically more expanded than you, to have chosen to live that life of lack and poverty and being homeless. Again, to allow itself through that limitation to expand, to understand what that is, and to give you the opportunity to open up your heart with compassion. But the next trick is stop looking at them as disempowered beings. Because when we perceive them as disempowered beings, we technically are sending reminders and like memories to them that they are disempowered. They said, why don't you use a clever way and begin seeing them as ascended masters? And as you drive down the street and you see them, say, thank you for showing me what I need to see. And thank you for allowing my heart to expand beyond my wildest imagination, and for seeing you fully as the ascended master that you are. And I send them the energy and memories for them to remember within their psyche that they are ascended masters. And although they chose to live a life of like limitation and to have the illusion that they are disempowered, we have a role also to help them remember again. So if he or she have received or have reached a level that they've learned enough, they can get themselves out of it through empowering and remembering that they are empowered. What a beautiful way of not disempowering the world anymore. And that shifted my mind. And that, and when I see them as like ascended beings, I'm not thinking of idea of guilt and like sorrow and all the like low vibrational frequencies of more disempowerment that I'm sending to them. So crazy stuff that happened like through the praying mantis beings. And just, look, my husband gets a little bit of this, not much. Even the idea of politics, he's a huge on politics.
They don't always understand.
Totally. But even him, when I talked, because he asked me a question about like certain like Democratic or like Republican, and I'm like, honey, do you really want me to answer that question? He's like, yes. I'm like, do you really? He's like, yes. I'm like, you don't know what you're saying. Anyway, so I give him my thought. He goes irate. He absolutely goes irate. He doesn't understand the concept of neutrality, of witnessing those. But that's okay, because it's his path. So, so even the point is, even within my life, because I'm living in the 3D and through limitation too, I have people around me, very close to me, as close as a husband, where there is still two different worlds. And he tells me at
Mhm.
times, babe, I said, babe, I don't care about the news. That's one reality. People choose to live in that reality. That's fine. I'm honoring them. They're ascended beings. They want to live like this. Go for it. You can get yourself out of it. I'm living in my own world. And he literally looks at me in the eye and says, you're insane. You don't live in this reality. And I look at him back. I'm like, absolutely, I don't. I live in my own reality of love, of magnificence, of complete empowerment, of remembrance of who I am. This is what I choose. And this is what each and every one of us can and has the choice to do. You are not stuck in any paradigm. And when you begin to remember your power, in a sense, as a creator, you begin to manifest and choose what you want to manifest. So I hope that was helpful. I kind of
Yes, and I
ranted on
totally
call.
agree with that. Kind of going in reverse. As far as the homeless and stuff, like you don't have the burden of all this physical stuff, things. You have freedom. A lot of people are put there and they don't understand why. Some people choose to be there and people don't understand why. And like our husbands or your husband or whatever, like they don't understand what we know because we've been taught to think a certain way and to see a certain way. It's good to see beyond that. And as far as like bad things happening, bad things didn't happen. How would you know what good was? And people hate it when I say everything happens for a reason. Like even my mother dying, like everything bad that's happened to me in my life, had it not happened, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't know what I know today. Like it's a learning process, an expansion, like you said. And as far as knowing where you're going before you come to Earth, I totally agree with that too. Like we are able to, I think, in my imagination, watch a movie of our life. This is what our life is going to be. Are you going to sign that soul contract or not? A lot of us choose to because not everybody gets the gift of coming here. Some people are taken as they're born or even before or shortly after or whatever. Not everybody gets this chance.
Yeah, totally. And many beings, speaking of UFOs a little bit for the audience that like vibrates on the super woo, like, topics. There are many beings that have been waiting to come to Earth and experience this limitation in physicality. Because look, when you're consciousness and you're all, you have an awareness of all. And of course, there's all kinds of levels within awareness and like the consciousness, but not many people get to have a golden ticket, as they say here. We're almost like, I don't know, like the Super Bowl for people that I don't connect to Super Bowl, but like somehow I saw like the Super Bowl. This is like the real Super Bowl for like the universe, where everybody's watching. 20 million beings, how many ever million viewers, are watching us and observing us. It's okay, and observing us through the limitation, and observing that as dark. As deep as we have gone through the darkness and forgetfulness of who we truly are, they see us emerge through it as these divine light beings of just like, it is incredible. It's incredible to be here. And really the purpose we're here is to embrace everything that limitation has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing.
And it does, at times feel, a lot of people like, we're in hell. It does sometimes feel like hell on earth. But it's not, this is a gift. I had a guy that I used to work with at the casino, and he was total free spirit and everything. He's like, we're just stardust, baby. And I'm like, that is the most hippie thing that I've ever heard, but it stuck with me. And I thought about it. And it totally makes sense because we all come from, the Big Bang or however it happened. And yeah, we all have the light of Christ or God or whatever you want to think of it in us. And then one thing that I'm thinking of also when you talked about the cables, the cords, people, when they astral travel, talk about that. I'm afraid to astral travel because I've had things after me like my whole life. So I'm afraid if I step out, something's going to step in. But they're like, no, there's a silver cable that goes from your body to wherever. So when you said that, that was the opposite of what I'd heard before. So I'm like, freaking complete. Pretty awesome.
Totally. And look, we get to create again because we're creators, but we say that, but we don't comprehend what we freaking say. We are creators. You are gods. Each and every one of you is a god and is able to create everything. And if you are creating unconsciously a life that you don't prefer, If you are creating unconsciously a life you don't prefer, if you are creating, you are a creator, you can
Mhm.
definitely create a life that you do prefer. But that's where we're trying to break, because we've been so brainwashed and disempowered. School systems, parents, family, cultures, your own, like, layers after layer after layer after layer, traumas you've gone through, experiences, layer after layer of disempowerment. Well, we are shedding all of those layers to remind us that we are the creators of everything that we are experiencing. And I know, like, some people get triggered. What do you mean? I'm creating a life. How can I be creating it? Yes, you are, but you don't remember, right? Listen, I do remember for 40 freaking years, 42 years, really. I do remember. I thought, I kept praying to Jesus and Mother Mary and saying this and saying that and I don't know what else, and Mother Krishna. And I went to the Indian, like, deities whom I don't know, but I was praying for them too. I was praying for every freaking deity. And this doesn't mean that the prayers don't work or they weren't working, but I was praying from a disempowered state, that I am not divine, I am not worthy, I am not valuable, I am broken, I have issues, I freaking stutter, blah, 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 blah. All the disempowerment. But when you begin to re-empower yourself and truly go back to the idea of love, self-love, we are not taught. It is
That's the
selfish.
hardest one, right?
Of course.
You don't
Of
learn
course.
until-
Why?
Yeah. Why? Why are you so mean to yourself? I'm the worst person to myself. I don't know. But that's
So
one big thing to learn.
Totally. And we've been, again, brainwashed. Like, don't get me, we can talk about the government and conspiracy theories and other factions within the world and other, that try to disempower us on to perpetuate the forgetfulness. Of course, they're going to say selfish. Of course, they're going to keep you away from self, because self is what it all is. There's
Mhm.
only this. That's where the love emanates. So beginning with self-love is I, for 43 years, although I awakened 3.5 years ago, didn't love myself. I was Jesus. I basically was Jesus for everybody else. I was a savior. I did this. I helped financially. I helped verbally. I helped with in every way that I disempowered everyone around me. I disempowered my parents and my husband and our dogs and people and homeless. Everyone I disempowered, and I just was like, save, try to save people. And I left and I didn't even save myself. So last year was my first year where I began understanding what self-love is. Even through that journey, and I'm still learning. I don't fully know what it means, but I've gotten better about making myself number one. And I am important, and I am valuable, and I am worthy the way I am, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's not blah, blah, blah. That's some good shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's
Yeah, the
favorite
blah,
shit,
blah, blah is
blah,
serious.
blah, blah. And this is some serious, like, self-love is it. And look, when you begin emanating unconditional love for self, when you begin unconditionally loving yourself, you begin to emanate that vibration frequency to others. And then when you are then unconditionally loving others, then the impact is a lot greater when you don't love yourself and playing out the act that you're loving somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you feel like you're doing it, but in reality, I don't know. I think it puts out that thing where that's where people use you and stuff. Because I've always been a people pleaser, and I don't know if it's like when you hit your 40s or what, when you realize, like, how can you love someone if you're not loving yourself? How can you help someone if you're not helping yourself? Because there's nothing left to give. So that's the most important part. Just like if you're about to crash in an airplane, if you don't take that mask and put it on, how are you supposed to help other people?
Totally. And I mean, I did the same thing. Like, I was going like this when you mentioned, I forget the expression you mentioned. Anyhow, when you watch it back, you'll see. But doing an act of love is very different than being the love.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for us because we're trained. Oh, help others, give money, give time, do this, support, do homelessness. Like, if you go to the kitchen soup, give them money. Yes, doing. It's easy for us to do stuff. People can say, I love you all day long. It doesn't mean shit in my mind. People can say things. We all are trained
It's just
to say
words
the
anymore.
right things. Yes, we're all trained to say the right thing, to do the right thing, but we're not being what we are doing. It's a very different paradigm. That's complete surrender into what it means, because humanity, the Mantis said, conditionally loves everyone. People, us, don't know how to unconditionally love. And I go back to the one little cool joke that when I was on stage came through is, and like they were so fun. And this is like the funny part where the praying mantis like came in. So on stage they were like, hold on a second. You guys have been screaming and yelling and going, "Oh my God, we want to meet aliens. We can't wait to make contact. When is the UFO going to land? When on the Greys are like, we come. Like we can't wait. Why are they not coming?" They said, "You as humans, people can look exactly like you, the same color, living in the same neighborhood, and you still hate and kill and don't love each other. But you're telling us you want some being that doesn't even remotely resemble like you, that perhaps may look scary, and their vibration and frequency is not even near your vibration and frequency. And you're saying when we land, you're going to come to us with unconditional love? If you cannot unconditionally love somebody or some human that looks like you almost identical, and you still hate and discriminate and racial and kill each other and animals, and you can't even, the beings that live on your planet as part of your planet, you still hurt and not see them as one. You're telling us, who are you fooling? You're fooling us to say, if we come in the way that we are, you're going to accept us with unconditional love? Bullshit. Basically. Bullshit. Until we vibrate on the unconditional love of what it truly means not to act, to be unconditional loving, that's when we send out the signal to the rest of the universe that we know what oneness is. And when we are vibrating from that frequency, every being that could possibly exist within the universes has the ability to land and introduce themselves, because at that point we understand in oneness and no more separation.
And I think they pick up on it too. Like, you don't have to speak for them to hear you. They can hear you. They can hear your thoughts.
We're energies. We're giving information all the time. We're sending information. Listen, the internet, like, how does Wi-Fi really work? I mean, I'm not a techie guy. I don't freaking know how it works, but I know there's Wi-Fi somewhere and information comes through somewhere. Well, that's the same thing with our thoughts, with our behavior, with our actions, with our wars. It's going on to the ether. They have the most strongest Wi-Fi. They have knowledge about exactly what we're doing. And when they do come visit us every once in a while, because not every human is not, there are a good number of humans across our planet that do vibrate on the unconditional love aspect of things, and beings come to them because they inherently understand through their vibration that they are going to receive them with love. And
well, that's awesome that you say that, because and you're trained to rail for a reason, I guess. I don't know. No, but I've been on the thing where it's not my place to judge. You are who you are. Yes, I held judgment against the drunk driver that killed my mom. Once I forgave him and let that go, I was so free. And then after that, it was so easy to just let it go. And then it was so easy to quit making it a thing. And I don't know. It's not our place to judge. If you judge, it just puts more weight on you. It's toxic. It's bad. Love is love. We should love each other as we love ourselves, which, like we discussed, we're kind of mean to ourselves, but even better.
Unless we can love each other unconditionally, unless we can love self unconditionally, you're not really loving anyone else. You're doing the act of loving. We're trained, like, with no offense to dogs, like we have 5 dogs. Actually, one passed away a few months ago. We're trained like pets to do the right thing. We've been trained to do the right thing. So, very different than being the unconditional love. So, but when you witness it change in people's eyes as you talk to them, as you do you. And look, you don't have to be a spiritualist. You don't have to believe in aliens and channel and blah, blah, blah. None of the woo-woo stuff.
Just be true.
Be true and authentic to you. Because remember, we're vibration and frequency. Whatever you choose to be, you're doing it with love for self. People will vibrate and feel it and will gravitate towards you, because everyone is dying to be themselves. Everyone is dying. I'm still dying to be myself. I'm still learning, So it doesn't have to be woo-woo and believing in any of that. You do you, whatever you means to you. And sometimes, well, almost every time, because we have so many layers and masks and things we put on ourselves, you need to shed a lot of them. Shed, take off until you're naked. And when you see yourself, not physically naked, but you can do that too. That's another exercise that actually helps with unconditionalizing yourself. But when you get to the core of who you are, there's an identity crisis then. You're like, damn, or the F word, I've lived for whatever, 25, 30, 50, 60, 70 years. I thought I knew myself as the identity, as this, as the vice president. I don't know, whatever labels you put on yourself along the years. And you get to that self and you don't know who the hell you are. Your whole world crumbles.
Yeah.
Crumbles to pieces. How can I not know myself after all these years? Well, yeah, you don't know yourself. Because what you've known are the layers that you put upon yourself, that others have imposed on you, the fear of not having the courage to be that you impose on yourself. But when you get to that stage, that's when the beautiful magic begins, because you become like an artist, or or a like writer. You begin at a blank slate to begin drawing your life and writing your life in whichever way that you desire, and that's where pure manifestation begins, from self.
Mm-hmm.
Manifestation and creating abundance and all that stuff begins with self, not from the layers of the self. I just realized that right now, by the way. That's new. This is right, what do they say? Right out of the oven or hot off the press. Yeah. I've never said that before. That was a conscious channel message. It's some really good shit. Like, I never realized that until I find my true self and vibrate with myself, my manifestation power will heighten to another degree. Sometimes we try to manifest from the masks that we put on. But from the mask,
we put on masks. We put on masks because we're judged, and that just occurred to me a little bit ago. Like, that's why we have fears. That's why we have so many bad things about us. Had we not known these things, we wouldn't have all these layers, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Man. Well, that's a good point to go to music break, I think.
Okay. And that's another 18 minutes or whatever?
This one's shorter, yeah. Okay. I think we have like 4 songs on this one, and I added up 6, 9, 12, about 15 minutes, maybe.
Okay. So I can go get water and come back, okay?
Yes, you can stretch your legs, walk about the cabin, get something to eat, drink, whatever.
Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. See you soon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to go to our next music break. That was freaking epic. So many, realizations. It's awesome. I love it. So we're going to be listening to Miss Michaela Hay again with Pins and Needles, Mirror, and Gravity. Then we have Fred Johnson III. Both of these singers, Michaela Hay, Fred Johnson III, I don't know. There's musicians out there, but you could just really feel, their spirit, their soul. I just really love these two. These are two of my favorite artists that I get to play. But, he's going to be singing After Dark. We'll be back right after this music break.
Talking on pins and needles, every word through a microscope. You keep stomping down on the ground while I've been stuck on this tightrope. I just want to say what I want to say without your sentence. I'm not willing to do the time when I'm innocent, and I'm innocent. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. Walked on my share of thin ice with your blowtorch at my feet. You won't ever see me beg, so take this tongue off your leash. I'm gonna say what I wanna say, don't need permission. Interpret it how you want, it's my decision. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. the pieces all around. My safety has been broken. This is now a hunting ground. Talking on pins and needles. Talking on pins and needles. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, hang it up, hang it up. And I'm done, and I'm done, and I'm done, done, done. I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, up, up. Talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, up, up. Talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, up, up. Talking about, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, I'm gonna hang it up, 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 up. I dove right in. Didn't bring a parachute. Fell right through. Hit the water hard. Moving too fast. Spiraling out of control. Was touch and go. Went a little far. You taught me how to turn a blind eye. I showed you how to keep a shoulder cold. No one walked away without a scar, scar, scar. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. Try to erase the ink that's left upon my chest. I'll attest. I don't really wanna forget to forget. You taught me how to turn a blind eye. I showed you how to keep a shoulder cold. No one walked away without a scar, scar, scar. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through chase the spark, search until we find it. We were worlds apart, now connecting hearts. They look up to find us. Look up to find us. Silent, drifting all alone, killing time and counting stars, waiting for the moment we collide. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you got a hold on me. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you're my gravity. Silent, drifting all alone, killing time and counting stars, waiting for the moment we collide. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you got a hold on me. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you're my gravity. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you got a hold on me. I feel you pull me closer, you got me burning up, you're my gravity.
My driver pulls up in my limousine, ready to take me anywhere I want to be. I say, I want to go. Take me to a college scene. I'd like to go and dance, have drinks, and hunt the perfect date. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Secret homicides arranged in a series of pursuits. No matter what I say, after dark, I gave her base because she had the range. I knew she was the one that never could go home again. Plastic life like limo seats. I don't know why I can't control this urge to hurt again. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Chasing things that murder forever after. No matter what I say, after dark. Feeling meant to turbulence in me. In hiding place with days of December. Concerning works were meshed in
Well, welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we are conversating with Toni Ghazi and the praying mantis beings. Welcome back, Toni, and thanks so much for being on tonight. Oh, hold on one second. Let me put the echo cancellation back on. Okay, got it. Oh, yeah, hold on one second. There we go.
I'll mute it. Yeah. Oh, I love your hoodie because actually I had my hoodie earlier. It was it's cold outside today.
I know we're supposed to be in the single digits, and I forgot to lock the chickens up, so I had to run out there really quick, and it was cold.
I know. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so I'm excited. Yeah, so a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of new concepts and ideas of expansion. And look, it takes time sometimes, just to because look, sometimes you don't even know yourself. You don't know what you don't know when you're going within to find the self within you that's not inhibited and suppressed and all these masks. There is like a little journey of confusion, right? Of just not truly knowing, oh, am I supposed to be this? Is this myself? Or like, is this not myself? But just know the act and the intention and the desire to know thyself in a sense will be the guiding force to get you there. And again, from a grander concept, all of it is a journey. All of it, is essential. Even the forgetfulness of all is. And the journey to remember again is. And this is where you kind of work to surrender, to be in that moment, to feel the confusion. It's because look, sometimes on the path of rediscovery, we judge ourselves even more because you're desiring to rediscover yourself, but you're like, I'm not there yet, and you're like, you dig yourself into even more than before, because before you were judging yourself not knowing, now you're consciously knowing and judging, because now you have the expectation. I haven't reached a specific destination, which, by the way, let's talk about destination. And we go back to the idea of infinity. If you truly believe you're an infinite being, that's energy that's living forever and ever and ever, there is no destination within the idea of infinity. Because when you reach such illusion of destination, you realize, oh, it keeps on going because it's infinite, right? Which leads back to the now moment of creation. That the now moment, which you hear a lot of people talking about, the now moment from the very surface level, truly the now moment is surrendering fully into who you are, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what intention you have, what emotions you have, what memories you have, etc., fully allowing them to simply be what they are and not trying to change them and adjust them and tweak them and judge them and push them away. And it's really, because energy is energy. Energy is simply trying to express itself to energy. And truly, from the grander concept of things, energy has no meaning. When you hear the expression of, oh, like life has no, well, everybody's like, what's the meaning of life? Well, it has no meaning because we get to place the meaning on it.
Yeah.
Through our creation. But that's the beauty of it, is that through our creation, we get to put the many meanings on life, which expands life into the infinite.
Yeah, mine was to find happiness, is what I thought it was, but I don't know. It could, like you said, it could be anything.
Again?
To find happiness, but like I said, I don't know. It could be anything. It could just really depend upon the person or the spirit or the energy or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. And look, thank you for saying that, because you said one singular thing, which now has prompted me to say more. This is for the audience too. You are not just one thing. You are not just a male or a female, an architect or a janitor or doctor. I don't know, all these labels. Lebanese or Indian or Pakistani or Asian or American or German or European or blah, blah, blah. You stutter, you have this, you have that, you're not tall enough, you're not just one thing. You're everything. You're multidimensional. And the idea really is there is no one thing we're finding, not just happiness. We're trying to find all of who we are, which is all the aspects of who we are, which means I'm trying to find how I am, what it means for me to be joyful, what it means to be in pain, what it means for me to be in desire, what it means to be in pleasure, what it means to me, to be in like to be sad, to be depressed, to be excited, to be hopeful, to be unknowing, to be knowing, to be infinite, to be limited. All of it. That's what
Maybe
that's what life is all about.
Yeah, maybe to find happiness is to find yourself. Dang.
Totally.
That's deep.
That's some good shit.
That's right. Can we
You
get another
know,
round?
yeah. And then, and just be yourself. Say whatever you want to say. So like through my real estate career, I go to corporate and I do Zoom calls about real estate and I answer questions about real estate, and in a very corporate setting where everybody's in suits and super educated and I don't know what else and all this imitation. I cannot, and I go with all these symbols. Now, I'm going to go with this, and soon enough, I probably will go in a dress on purpose just to break the paradigm. And I'm speaking very corporate bureaucratic. Like literally, that's what I'm meant to do. But with all of of the markings, I cannot tell you how many human within corporate America that has approached me with a wall. I mean, they're all kind and nice people, right? There's no need, but just there's a wall and there's a suppression. Expecting, I don't know what they expect, but the moment they see this, they're like, okay, this is an odd guy. But the moment they talk to me, this is how I talk to everybody. It doesn't matter. And like they understand that this is like spirituality, and they begin feeling the vibration of how I speak, which is I'm me. Literally, a wall falls down, and what was once a very perhaps closed up person now is a human again. Because in reality, before we leave work, we are who we are. After we leave work, we go back to who we are. But at work, we're putting on extra persona and costumes on top of your personal life, which you've placed a lot of other costumes on top of yourself. Everybody's dying to get out of it. And everybody knows it's inauthentic, but everybody keeps doing it because everybody else keeps doing it.
Also, you have to worry about keeping your job too. They even look at your personal profiles. It's like, stay out of there. This ain't a work thing. Yeah.
But know that your authentic self, when you are stepping in your truth of who you are, you'll attract exactly the job that vibrates with that vibration. But if you're keeping the masks on, you're going to attract a job that has masks on and that enforces to keep a mask on. So what choice do you want to do or have? Right? But the moment you begin rediscovering self and you tap into who yourself is, believe me, you don't want to be anyone else after that. Because that's where the gift and the beautiful, and that's how light you will feel. It is super exhausting and tiresome to keep dragging and dragging and dragging layers and layers and layers of costumes that isn't you. It is the lightest and most easy and beautiful and peaceful thing to just be you. Everything else is like carrying weights behind you. Who wants that? But we're not taught that it's like to be you. We're taught you gotta look like him, you gotta look like her, you have to go to this school, you have to drive this car, you have to live in this neighborhood, you have to have this education. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit after bullshit. All of it is bullshit. Because all of it keeps you away from who you are. And when you are old, when you are on your deathbed, although there's no death, then the life review comes in. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Why didn't I have the courage? Why didn't I do this? And like the regret, right? So that's the old paradigm of how things were.
That's when a lot of people realize what's really important. It's not the job. It's not the money. It's the love and the time with family. Things like that.
Yes, and COVID was a beautiful, although like many people like see COVID as, oh, it killed so many people. There's no death, guys. Those people actually co-created and they chose to exit this world that way because they've learned what they needed to learn, and now they're spirit and they're being a butterfly or a plant or whatever they want to be. But COVID allowed us to come back home. Literally, the whole planet stopped. Agriculture,
not good.
Everything stopped. But when everything stopped and the noise the noise of our I have to go to work and I have to get ready and there's
Mhm.
traffic and oh my god, my and the time limitation, all that crazy limitation stopped. What happened? You begin to hear, you begin to feel, it allowed you to come back in. COVID was a beautiful gift for humanity. And I have a lot of friends that have successful businesses and attorneys and this and that, left all their jobs to find what they've always wanted to kind of tap into. I know so many people that have all kinds of jobs and busy with their jobs, and at the same time they say, I want to do this, I want to go camping, or I want to go scuba diving, or like small things that aren't the end of the world and crazy, and still aren't doing it. The restriction, the suppression of not
Mhm.
following that voice and that
The
desire.
limitations.
Very. And now I'm going away from the idea of home ownership. Although I'm a realtor and I'm all about homes. I told my husband like last month, and he freaked out. He's like, "What is that supposed to mean? Are you going to leave us?" I'm like, babe, the idea of home ownership is limiting too. Why do I need to
Mhm.
own a land and a house in one geographic location and keep myself in one
Can go
geographic
everywhere.
location? Because this is my home. I want to experience the globe. I want to live all over my Mother Earth. This is my planet, our planet as a citizen. I want to experience all of it. Every 2 or 3 months, I want to go out. I want to do things on Zoom and like thank God for the Wi-Fi and internet. It allows access to the world. I want to feel the waters of the world. I want to feel the rocks of the world. I want to interact with people of all kinds. I want to see how they live, feel the energy, like see the stars from a different location. I don't want to be
Mhm.
grounded and stuck
Yeah.
in one location because of, I'm sorry to say this, the American dream or whatever human dreams has. Yeah, it's one dream, but it's also a limiting dream. Why
Mhm.
do our dreams have to be one thing? Why can't my dream? Well, actually, it is. My dream is everything, to experience all
Yeah.
of it. You know,
Infinity.
so
Everything.
so like within the illusion of the grandeur of things, it's all based on limitation.
Mhm. Yeah,
That like for
because you're in a box. Like, no, get out of the box.
yeah. Yeah. And who said you cannot make a living while traveling?
No,
Why
seriously,
limit
people
you?
do.
I have a lot of friends that have gone nomadic, literally nomadic.
Hmm.
Like my friend has been traveling. She like lived in Hawaii for like 5 or 6 years, and now she's been traveling all over the US, and now she's at her dad's and she's going back to Hawaii, and I have people that want to go to Bali. Like, imagine a life where you get to experience your Mother Earth, the planet you're
Mhm.
born on. And the need for luxury and the need for materialism, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's also ascension. That's part of life, right?
Yeah.
But to live, to experience yourself and your gifts and your powers doesn't require anything else outside of you. It requires work within you,
Mhm.
you know? So everything else is noise, really. Like, I told, anyhow, and it's just, yeah, I can't wait to see the world and just, and who knows what's gonna happen to my husband? He can come or not come. That's up to him. But
Well,
and
if you
look,
don't
and
go,
like
I'll go with you.
this is the other thing, though. The act of marriage. Two people
Mhm.
are together. One person wants one thing, the other one doesn't want one thing. But the one person doesn't do what they want in their heart because they don't want to disappoint or hurt the other one. Well, that's
Yeah.
limitation. That's
Yeah.
suppression within marriage. A
That's
true marriage is
conditional.
supporting each other. True marriage is allowing both of your gifts to flourish. And true marriage is knowing that even though we may not be together, because we both are, once you go into self and realize yourself is different when you thought there was, and now you're not vibrating with this being, that's okay too. You've learned what you
Mhm.
needed because we're all ascended masters. Now go on and wait, so our whole world was designed to limit us, keep us away from us.
And that was another thing that I was trying to teach my friends, or people that ask me, like, don't find somebody to complete you because they're like, oh, you complete me. Find somebody that complements you. So both you being in yourselves can just complement each other. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm gonna have a whiplash doing this because I totally agree with you. No one can complete you, period.
Mhm.
And no one forces you to do things. No
Nope.
one does anything to you. You are doing it to yourself. That's another trigger point for people. What do you mean I created this life or I did this? Yes, you did, through your vibrations, through your frequency, through your
Yeah.
belief system, because you are a creator. No one
Your
can do anything
decisions.
to you. You allow, exactly, your decisions. We allow them. We empower them and disempower us. We're so afraid to make a decision to
Mhm.
hurt them, so we make a decision we know it's not good for us, and then it bites us in our butt, and we're bitching. Why is it biting us in our butt, and why is it happening to me? You know what I mean? But listen, guys, for the audience, I've lived this life for 43 years, 42 years. Past 2 years, I've been learning to. So I wasn't born this way, by the way. I know where you are, and hopefully you're not there. Hopefully you've gone through that work. But if you are, there is a way out, right? There is a way where you live happy, you live successful, you live with freedom. Listen, you can be free in your mind and be imprisoned in a cell and
Mhm.
still feel free. Freedom is not. Freedom is a true state of mind. To be fully you. To experience your totality as a beautiful, infinite being. Multidimensional, multifaceted, creator of beauty. And our vessels, our human skin and suit is the car, the vehicle, the transportation, the UFO. Since many of you want the UFOs to land here, well, you're one of the UFOs. You're not even accepting your own UFO-ness. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, we're not
Yeah.
accepting our own vehicle, because listen, it's really arrogant for humans, for humanity, to think of aliens and UFOs as aliens. But have you ever thought maybe they look at us and they're like, they're aliens, like they look weird. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's our future selves. Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, okay, and I mean, we can jump on like the topic of parallel realities and everything happening at once, and there's no really past and future and present. That's another
Yeah.
not advanced topic, but another expanded topic of like,
When somebody says it's all happening at once, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, what? Really?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
it is, but you're only aware of this one because you chose to laser focus on this. Remember when I had my past life regression, where I had the two awarenesses, where I saw the flash of the mantis, but it was a quick flash. But yet within that flash, I was forever. These are two awarenesses. And when you have deja vu moments where you're like, you know what? I've driven the street before, while fully knowing you're never freaking here. That is two awarenesses at once of two different realities. So we have.
What do you do when that happens? Like, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, should I go a different route now? Or like, what should I do? Or should I just sit and wait for it to play out and see what happens? And see if it happens the way I knew it was going to happen. I don't know. Deja vu always freaks me out.
Depending on the circumstance, just like follow the flow of the energy. And most
Listen
likely
to your
it is
gut.
not. Sorry?
Listen to your gut. Like,
Yes.
you.
Yes, your gut, your instinct is your higher self, is other beings speaking through you. And like when that happened, be aware that it happened and talk to the version of you that's doing what it's doing. Communicate. That's contact. And if you feel called to take a different route, take a different route, see where the magic leads you. Because your other version that's living her life or his life has made decisions and is making like decisions that are slightly tweaked than you. And in her past and her expression of and her manifestation are a bit different. So when you surrender it and communicate to it, she'll send you all kinds of downloads and messages from her side to you. And there's a reason why you're having a deja vu. There's a reason why you're feeling two realities at once, for communication, for exchange of information. It's not a coincidence.
It might seem like a really small thing, but I think it magnifies it because you really need to pay attention to this exact moment.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm creeping myself out.
Why? See, be careful what you say. Why creeping yourself out?
Like you said, like getting the chicken skin or the goosebumps or whatever. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's good. And look, when we get chicken skin, when we get goosebumps, our hair and our skin is antennas.
Yeah.
It's letting us know I'm like vibrating on a different. It's antennas of connection, right? So when you think of your grandfather or dad who passed away or whoever, or even spirits, if you're walking through a haunted house. There's no haunted houses. But anyways, and you feel that energy, that's a different vibration that just merged with you in a sense, that's giving you a signal that you're feeling something different. We're bombarded by communication all the time.
Mhm.
Spirits talk to us all the time, through flowers, through plants, through air, through the sunlight, through birds, through animals, through other humans, through driving in a car, through messages on cars, through a song that's playing, through a book you're reading. Like, I mean, like sometimes you could read like a paragraph and there's one word that just stands out for some freaking reason. Well,
Mhm.
that's communication from the other side. And when you begin redefining your life, when you begin expanding and seeing the magic around us, we're always connected, we're always supported, we're always guided, we're always being communicated with. Always. We're never
Mhm.
alone, ever.
Yeah, I've realized that, like, because I don't have either one of my parents, and especially after my dad died, I'd hear my own voice talking to me, but the cadence and the way it was talking to me, I'm like, that's not me, that's my dad. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
100%. 100%. And awesome for like noticing those. And when you expand, you begin to notice different vibrations, frequencies, like tonalities. You just know what you know. And
Yeah.
it becomes so visceral. It doesn't matter what the world tells you. You know it because it's like knowing, because you're being it and you're not acting. Right? We go back to the idea of love. We act the love out. We are not being the love. We do what we were told is an expression of love, but we're not being the love.
Yeah.
Um,
And like what you were saying during the first hour, but I was like trying to be quiet and not interrupt because I hate when I do that.
well, you did an
But
amazing
you were
job.
talking about, I know what I know. And people are like, well, how do you know what you know? I don't know. I just do. Like, I just do. I can't explain it to you. I just do. Perhaps it's your past knowledge. Perhaps it's, your family before you. I don't know. I just know.
Yes. And look, the not knowing how you know or how it works. Because again, the like limited mind in our culture has conditioned us again and brainwashed us to, we need to know how it works. Because if you, this is why like the scientist get wrapped up in like physicality. You need to know how it knows, or otherwise it's not real. But all of these scientists believe in God, but you haven't seen God. So explain to me through science how God works, but yet you believe in God. Many of them are Christians or Muslims. Well, and I'm just kind of being a bit facetious with the idea, but they choose and pick what they believe in without any proof, but yet with the other one with the proof, no, we need to understand more. Well, that understanding the more, to understand the little pieces of it, is you're veering away from the grander message that perhaps is being delivered to you. Is veering away from the flow and surrender to lead you to where you need to be. The very laser focused, the same way what you asked, you're like, like, why am I experiencing only this reality? Because you're laser focused on it. But when you open up your consciousness and you open up your awareness and allow hyper awareness to set in, which means you're aware on many of the versions you're living without knowing how it works, but like somehow consciously you through intention and like desire, you want to get there. It allows you to receive messages without needing to know the minutia of how to get there. Because sometimes we don't need to know how to get there. We just know what you know.
Right? And it's so freeing. Like, why do I need to dwell on this? I don't know. I just know. And you can feel it within you too. You're just like, it's true. You can pray for divination or whatever you need to do, but you get to a point where you can feel when it's true, when it's bad, when it's good, whatever. Another thing that kept hitting me throughout our whole show together was Garth Brooks. Okay, I'm not a big fan. My aunt who adopted me and then became my mom, she was a huge fan. But the Vessel song, The Dreamer's Just a Vessel, ever changing as it flows, that song keeps popping in my head. And it's just like, we are vessels and we're carrying this light within us. And once our vessel dies or sinks, then we go to another vessel. I don't know. It's pretty intriguing and a really cool way to think about it.
Totally. And look, many of the songs and like the singers that like that sing out there are channeling messages. These are all channeled messages. Um, I was gonna say something now. It left my mind.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm like,
don't
I hope I didn't
apologize.
do it.
No judging
I
yourself.
have a guilt complex too. Like I always feel like it's
Why?
my fault. I don't know why.
No
I've
way,
had that my
Jose.
whole life.
Out of your mind.
Go away.
How,
You're not out here anymore.
listen, how can you, and I'm just kind of challenging you a second, how can you believe in that, but yet you believe in like divine flow?
It's
Two
like maybe I'm
dichotomies.
fractured. Yeah, maybe there's like 2 or 3 different parts of me, and I don't know exactly
that's an
yet.
interesting- that's-
Yet.
that's an Yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. Did we talk about the unknown, that there's more of you in the unknown? Did we say that earlier?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second. Back to the idea of the infinite. If you believe you're the infinite is what? Everything. Everything that keeps on creating into infinity, it never freaking ends. So there's never a stage where your creation ends. So you're always continuing on going. And if you also believe that you're all of it, which is the dark, the good, the evil, the sad, whatever. Again, the sad, the evil, the dark, these are our words as humans because we're limited.
Mm-hmm.
Creation doesn't see it like that. And if you believe that you're the only divine and you're the only creator, we emanate from source and there's only one, but we have the threads, we have these little facets of it. In the unknown, if there's only you, in the unknown is what? More of you. If you're the only creator creating all of this, all this illusion of separation and disempowerment, in the darkness, in the scary aspect, the places that we don't know, because also we've been conditioned, if you don't know what's in there or what's out there, something bad is there.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Which is
magical
not true.
there.
Yeah.
Totally. Because it's more of who you are is there. And what's waiting over there is more of yourselves needing and wanting and desiring to meet you so you can see yourself in the many facets. So when you begin defining the unknown as you, there's more of me in the unknown that you get excited perhaps to want to meet more of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you meet more of you, the more you realize you are infinite. That's how it works. The more you decide not to, please
continue.
The more that you decide not to meet the more of you, the more you keep yourself limited to the only knowingness of the versions that you know. It's up to you, your choice. All of it is valued by creation. All of it is never judged by creation. You are the driver of your own car or your own vehicle or UFO. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. You can live in peace. You can live in harmony. You can live. It's all in your control. You get to choose.
Well, my dad used to tell me I have a lead foot, so you never know. Yeah. But no, like I think some of that too, like the fear of losing someone. Oh, I love someone, but I'm afraid to do this because I'm afraid to lose them. Once you've been with somebody for so many freaking years, you start to realize like you are more important than the other person. And you don't have to have that person to be happy. Yes, you love that person and you'll probably always love that person, but you need to keep being you. You need to keep finding you. You need to complete yourself. And don't fear. Like, fear is one of the tools they use against you. Sometimes it can be exciting. That's why I love horror movies and stuff. But no, like, don't fear. Like, keep going. Keep progressing because the more you learn, the happier you'll be. And like you said, your mind will be blown.
This is coming fresh out of the oven. I've like never like
out of the oven, fresh off the press.
I love oven or fresh. Yes, the press one is good. Would your audience or would you? Would you ever be okay? This may be a bit dramatic, but it's cool. Would you ever rob someone else? Oh, I love the fact you're actually thinking about it.
It depends on who someone else is.
Understood. Let's kind of not dig deep into it, but generally, would people want to rob some other person?
Because I do believe in karma. Karma's a bitch, but I love her for it. No, I don't think I would, unless I knew
So, like,
it was an evil
yeah.
ass person that deserved it, and I'm karma. But otherwise, no, I wouldn't.
But let's not go to the evil route. Let's say
No,
humanity is amazing, everybody's sweet and kind and rosy and loving each other. Would you go and rob someone else?
no.
And I'm sure most of your audience wouldn't.
That would make me unhappy, and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and it bugged me forever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pushing you for a second. Really?
Yeah,
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
yeah. Because
Listen.
why would I rob somebody? You could just ask them, be like, hey, I need this. Can I have that? More times than none, they'll say yes, because if they have it, they probably have more. I don't know, like,
Okay. Yeah. But let me get to my
believe-
point for 1 second.
okay.
And
All
for
right.
your audience. No, please, like, don't apologize. I just didn't want to have the audience or you lose the point of this for a moment. The reason that they asked, would you rob someone else? And you went into if they're bad, I would, but fine. Forget about the bad. Let's say everybody's sweet and nice. You said no. And I said, why? Because you said, and I said, really? Then every time each and one of us are not being our true self, we are robbing ourselves from ascending.
It's true.
Think about that.
Yep.
Think about that. This is why I said, really? But yet you
Mhm.
rob yourself every day of who you are? I mean, I probably still do, and I'm still working on it. I'm just kind of challenging us here.
So if you don't rob the person, you rob yourself of who you are? Or,
No, what I'm saying is I just asked about the concept, like, would you rob somebody else? And like, naturally, I'm like, you said, no, I would not rob somebody else. But the point is, but yet you're robbing yourself every day from being fully who you are.
okay.
We, by not being ourselves, by not having the courage to be and go beyond the paradigm and go beyond what the rest of the herd's doing, and what we were told we need to follow the herd as they're jumping off the cliff into the abyss of not knowing who they are, but we still are. You are robbing yourself the privilege, the honor, the power, the truth, the beauty of who you are. Every day we do it to ourselves. Begin defining yourself like this. Every time I don't be myself, I'm robbing myself from being me. And I feel if we begin to vibrate on that vibration, you would rob yourself less and less and less, more and more and more, less as time goes on. Because why would you? If you wouldn't do it to somebody else, why are you doing it to yourself?
Right.
Because
So if
we're
you don't rob
trained.
somebody else, you're robbing yourself? Or, like, as
What?
far as, like, being in the being in the herd, sheeple, to me, that's how a lot of people around us are, and it's very freaking scary. And it does scare the crap out of me. I'm just like,
Of course.
why? I don't understand, but that's the way we're taught. That's the way we're raised. Luckily, for some apparent reason, I'm not in that fold.
So if
Yes,
you
I
don't
would
want to
like
rob, if you don't want to rob yourself from who you truly are, then begin being yourself.
Mhm.
If it's easy for you not to rob somebody else, because in our mind it's the proper
Exactly.
thing to do, it's the moral thing to do, but yet you do it every single day to you.
Now I get what
How
you're saying.
unvalued do we feel about each other? How immoral do we act to ourselves?
Mhm.
That's the point.
Exactly. Like, we're our worst person. We're our biggest bullies. Because we know everything about us. We can pick it apart. And you can ask somebody, hey, what should I do about this? They're like, what are you talking about? They don't even see it. It's you, because you look so closely under a freaking microscope. Don't do that.
So for the audience, again, think about that. Every time you are not yourself, you're robbing you from the infinite. And if you really believe in not robbing other people, then think about how much you are robbing yourself constantly.
Mm-hmm. And time is not something you're guaranteed. You could be gone tomorrow. You never know. So get on it today. Let's get into that self-love.
Yeah.
And it's hard, especially, like I said, with the government and everything else. Like, luckily, my family, for the most part, has been pretty open, and at an early age, I don't know what it was about me. Like, I was seeking out religion. I needed to know things. Like, where'd my mom go? What happened to my mom? Religion to me is like medicine. Because, like you were saying, like, I don't find my religion at church. I don't need to go with a bunch of people and be there in attendance and be like, here I am. I'm all good with God. No, I find religion and God within me, my kids, the world around me, the forest, like so many different places. And I don't know about you, like throughout the years, now I see auras on trees and stuff. Like everything around me is a living being. And it just really blows me away. It's amazing.
Yes, everything is consciousness, everything is energy. And remember, again, because we chose to live a limited world, we perceive our world, the matrix. We didn't even talk about that, but maybe that's for like another time.
Maybe next time.
Totally. The matrix is reflecting back to us our belief system. So as you expand outside of the matrix, you begin to see energy. So the auras is the idea of what was once a physical tree through your lens. Now you are seeing beyond the veil as the energy being that it is. We only perceive it as a physical tree because we put in the codes in our bodies and our minds that a tree looks like this, or a tree could have a range of these of looks. It's like computer codes. The computer will do what has the codes in there. If it doesn't have that code, it's not going to do what it does. But as you expand, you enter more codes. When you know, and you're able to get a better output of things.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just want everybody to know, like, the more you open up, the more you learn, the more there is. It's so amazing and intriguing. And you can even put it like I'm playing a video game. The more levels I complete, the funner it is. Like, it's kind of like that, but not. And you talked about the Matrix. That's why I put it into video game terms, because that's how it is. Like, you pass that level, now you go to the next. And there's cooler stuff, but man.
And I'm going to mention just two more topics that may be interesting for your audience. I recently, so in the past, like I mentioned, I had Mother Mary and Jesus and saints and Kuan Yin and all the statues you can possibly imagine. I had like hundreds of them on a table, kind of like like worshiping. Now I've began creating an altar of me, for me, that I am the person I'm going to worship. Yeah. Not from an ego sense that I'm all this and all that. None of that. From a humble space that I am divine and I am worthy. And I'm also learning to marry myself. I thought of the idea of actually marrying myself. Every year, marrying thyself. Like new concepts that, because we are number one. We have to be number one.
I only heard of one other person doing that.
Okay. There you go. Somebody else has already began the journey. Because we need to remind ourselves how valuable we are, how infinite and divine and worthy and lovable and impactful we are. Again, not from an ego sense that I am better than you. There's none of that. We're all equal footings. We're all divine beings, but no more disempowering and pushing ourselves into the, I don't know, the mud or whatever it is. It's, we have a choice. We have a choice. Each and every one of us has a choice. You get to choose as a divine, powerful creator to live your life with awareness or asleep. Both of them are ascended masteries. Both of them are part of creation. Both of them are part of ascension. One may be slightly slower than the other and has more drama. A lot of Oscars, my joke recently is, yeah, exactly. You've won the Oscar for being the most dramatic on the stage of creation. Like, oh my God, I'm so disempowered. Well, congratulations. All of it is true because all of it is creation. So when you begin seeing it from that perspective, then you appreciate what's happening. You appreciate your life. You don't you don't degrade your life and say, oh, I wish I had different parents. I wish I lived this way. I wished, I didn't go to this school. I wish my parents didn't. Yes. But when you begin seeing that everything that occurred was a gift for you to get here, to ascend, to learn, to expand, then you realize, wow, I'm living in a freaking magical world.
Yeah, but people have blinders on. But
Totally.
that's very important. And I don't know, it's hard to tell people because everybody takes things personally these days. I remember back in the day, we could talk about anything.
Yeah.
And we'd all go out, still being friends, still being family. Now you say one thing and it's like, that's it, you're cut off. Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, listen, I didn't experience this before, but I've been experiencing like more and more. The more I put myself out there, I get messages on Instagram and on Facebook that are quite, like, to me, you know, my friends in my community and places I go with is, you know, the majority of people are kind of on our vibration. We think alike and oneness, and we support each other and like we celebrate each other. But I got a message like this morning where this guy like just said, "You're a freak."
What?
I know, it's crazy. Like I read, I'm like, and I just deleted it. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna give you any energy, but I honored his space, and I really should have said, you know what, I honor your view, like, and I may go back and like do that. I had other people that mentioned they go very deep religion on me, right? You know, I believe in Jesus and this and that, and I'm like, dude, Jesus is within my heart. Like I grew up Christian. Brother. I get. And then I have some people say, "Oh, this is the devil," or some like crazy talks of like. But this is my mirror for me to allow those beings to be, and that's the key. Mm-hmm. That's where judgment begets more judgment. I'm not gonna sit here and judge the person. He's an ascended being, or allow them to be, and it's okay. They have the right to think the way they think. They have the right to see their life exactly. And that's another level where it's a barometer for you when you get those messages of extremity, like very extreme. It's an opportunity for you to monitor yourself and see how you react. Like
it's hard sometimes, and it depends on I guess what day you've had or whatever. For me, because I don't know, I have a caregiver job and I love it because I'm my own boss. But at the same time, it can be very draining and very hard, and sometimes. I just fly off the handle, but no, be patient, listen. That's what I need to do. I used to be the best listener. I need to do that again.
Yeah. But when you understand the concept that we're all divine beings, we're all ascended masters, we all are worthy, we all have free will choice, then no way on earth you could, again, if you comprehend it before the intellect and be it, your reaction will not be. You literally will witness that being and allow them to be what they chose to be on the path. So the guy that called me freak, it's okay. I honor your journey. And if that's your perspective and vision, that is your perspective and vision. And I will honor you fully. You know?
Well, I've always claimed to be a mutant, so freak's not too far from that. So thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
I've never been called freak. Like for a second, like it did trigger me. I'm like, wait, what do you mean I'm a freak? Like I almost went into the like defensive mode, defending that I'm not a freak. But I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the hell am I doing? Just relax. It's all cool. Like, let him be who he wants to be. You know, maybe he'll realize like what he said one day wasn't really an act of love or, you know, an act of inclusion, but obviously that is a reflection.
Oh, and that's true too. Like, okay, as far as homophobia, so many different things. A lot of people strike out against what they are because they were raised not to believe in that. And so therefore they'll strike out at that. And I've had that happen within my family. And I'm like, very, very close to home. I've seen it. And I'm like, seriously? I saw you do this and you're acting this way towards him?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because that's how you were taught. And that's how you think you're supposed to react. Don't. Doesn't that make you feel bad or yucky or something? Like what? Why?
No, it doesn't make psychological sense that it would, because they were taught, they were conditioned how to put the emotion with the action. So from their perspective, it's their perspective. So but this is why we step over the bounds of the old paradigm. See, when these things happen in our life as we're expanding, and the thing is, as you expand, as you enlighten, as you become more, a lot of messages will come through to remind you, to give you a marker and a barometer for you to gauge yourself. If you're vibrating on what you're preaching, or if you're falling back into the old paradigm of doing things. Both of them are valid and appreciated and valued by creation. It's just, what do you want to vibrate on? So what a gift, in a sense, that guy that called me freak, that has given me to
Reflect.
show me that it's a gift, because he gave me the opportunity to watch myself
Mhm.
interact with that that comment. Although initially it kind of began as a trigger, and then I was able to get myself into quickly into a state of honoring him, and it's okay, and like, you don't need to respond, let him be him, So he gave me that gift. So that's how ascended mastery works.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, because like when that happens, like, yes, you're at a pause for a second, but then you think about it. You try to figure out, what is this guy talking about? And that causes that reflection for you to look back at yourself and what you've been doing. And sometimes it opens up different things for you. Sometimes it just readministers or readjusts. That's not a word.
Yeah.
Readjusts
No.
what you've been thinking.
I make up words, by the way. So that's cool.
Strategery is cool.
Yeah. Yes, but like sometimes, so this is how you expand yourself more. When these uncomfortable situations happen, they're happening for a reason. Maybe he had to say that for me to go within me to kind of uncover, are there parts of me that I thought I was a freak that I never healed, in a sense, or integrated? Because why would I get triggered by the word if the word didn't mean anything to me to begin with? I am, again, we go back to the creatorship aspect. I am the creator that created that word means something to me, because I experienced perhaps freakness at one point. There was a wound within me. So that's how ascended mastery works. It comes in many shapes and colors. And how you interpret them is whether or not you get the real message and the true message that was meant to be displayed initially.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's how you interpret it. Because for me, I'd be like, yeah. No, you're a freak. What? No, I love your makeup and everything. Like, I don't know, I have different color eyeliners and everything, but I just didn't have time to do an awesomeness tonight. But I was also wondering, like, I've seen that before, so I think that's your praying mantis thing. Is this too?
Yeah,
or what does it all mean?
Sorry?
What does it all mean? Like, is this all praying mantis?
Yes. So, sure. So, this is the Antares. So like there's a planet called Antares in our sky. And like this is the Stargate like symbol. And the odd like thing is, like, before I awakened, and I awakened like I say like 4 years ago it began, but really like 2 years ago or so. I had saved this image on my phone like 6-7 years ago, not knowing what it means. After I awakened, after I